and watch me educate. Yeah, we been coulda started, but it's never late. Do it for my kids, yeah, let's set it straight. Do it for your kids, gotta set it straight. It's time to regulate. We need change now. We need solar, we need...
Hey guys, thanks for joining us again for the Business of Dentistry podcast. Today's guest is Mr. Jay Glazer. Jay, tell everyone a little bit about what you do before we get started in asking you questions. And by the way, folks, I do have to apologize. We've got some construction going on here in the studio. So if you hear anything that isn't the sound of my voice or Jay's, again, you have my apologies.
It's nice to have a musical background. It's better than the flight in this morning. There was some dog barking the entire flight. I was like, oh my gosh, couldn't leave the dog at home? The whole flight. Unbelievable.
So Jay, tell everyone what you do, who you work for.
DC Dental, Crazy Dental. We are a distributor. It's very simple. We pick, pack, and ship product. That's what we do. And we have 49,500 products that we sell, over 70 manufacturers that we represent, that we work in tandem with. And like people ask me, you sell supplies? Like what type of supplies? So my response is, when you walk into a dental office and whatever they put in your mouth, whatever you sit on, whatever you look at, whatever they put on you, that's what we sell.
I mean, that's not untrue. I didn't realize how much actual equipment you guys have too. I went out there, gosh, how long has it been now?
It's about, a couple of years.
It
was drone heaven. You came with all your
that's true.
Gadgets. You were Inspector Gadget.
And we filmed a little commercial for you guys when we did that.
You.
But it was really neat to see where you guys do business. When we're ordering, we're talking to some nameless person on the phone, right? It's kind of a neat opportunity to meet everyone there.
You should come out. I know now you have built-in studios. Incredible stuff you have here, but we're building out a. You saw the warehouse the way it is currently, and we triple the amount of what's called VLMs, and HRZs. But we're building a robotic warehouse, presumably in the Reno area. We thought about Denver. I think it's going to go to Reno, and it's incredible with AI and you're talking about you place an order and you're just like, now you could actually talk to me, you could touch me like we're real people. This is going to be these massive machines, $10 million, but you place the order, 15 minutes later, everything's on the truck, done. And they have these robotic boxes that move around and know exactly where everything is, and it picks it up for you.
Well,
and
you guys had some pretty cool technology for sorting and things like that.
Right. That's going to be that's in today's society. Some of our largest our competitors have. I'm friends with some of them. They're like, "Wow, we have to learn what you guys have done. We don't even have that." And these guys are, we're top 5 in the country now. These guys are, I don't want to say it, but they're higher up in the poll than we are. And they're like, wow. And this new warehouse is going to put the one you saw to shame. It's those machines plus more. I mean, it's literally just picks everything for you. These robotic boxes moving around, picking everything up, and then at the end, the system knows already when the order is placed the size of the boxes that you need. So at the end, when everything's all picked, another machine will make the box. So let's say for Business of Dentistry, we could say, okay, this is a customer of TBOD. We're just gonna, then you can just go ahead and paint, a slab on the side of the box as TBOD. So it knows the box. It makes the box on the spot. Everything is put in there, and then you just paint it on there. The label's on, boom, and it goes straight in the conveyor belt, straight into the truck. It's really cool stuff.
Well, you mentioned TBOD, so you guys are actually sponsors of the group. You help us do what we do.
Thank you.
So, and I know we post a flyer every month, what your specials are. And you guys should definitely check that out because they got some crazy deals, as the name implies.
Crazy now, that's right. We're make it crazy. We're living life crazy. That's how we listen. The neighborhood here also. Your whole your landscape here. This stuff is seriously crazy. It's what they call a match made in heaven.
Well, so you bring something up. You're known as Crazy Jay. So what's the origin of the nickname, and how does it kind of reflect your personality or leadership style?
Thank you. So I think I remember as a kid growing up, Crazy Eddie. I think he was he ended up in jail. That's not part of my. I don't think it's on my itinerary. It's not part of my plan. But So I remember him he was in like the Brooklyn area. I think he was in like the electronics business or something. And he became like a famous electronic company because he called himself Crazy Eddie. So I think Jay, I guess that's my personality, a little crazy, a little off the beaten track. Just and I feel like in sales, if you do something that's a little different than everybody else, people may remember you. So I just try to be myself and be a little more comfortable in what I do and how I act, and just be real. And apparently, it's not typical and I bounce around a lot, so I meet a lot of people. I've met hundreds and hundreds of people in the dental industry, and it's like, so I guess the way I present myself, with the name Jay, it works. It rings well. Crazy Jay, the crazy dental part, and the J, so it's like, oh, Crazy Jay. It rhymes. It works. So it's grown from there. So as long as people remember me and what we do,
So,
I'm happy.
is there any connection between Crazy Dental and Crazy J, or
No.
just it was just a perfect fit?
Yeah. My legal name's not even Jay. That's the secrets out of the box, under the hood. So, but it sounds good. It works well, and I have a Hebrew name. That's I have a Hebrew legal name. So it's like and people just can't do it. Even though today with all the doctors and I can't pronounce half the names of the people I work with, but whatever. So people are like, no, you gotta come up with a name. So my wife and I sat down. We came up with like 10 different names we thought would be good, and the name Jay just stuck. I don't know. Maybe because she thinks I'm crazy. So maybe that's the origin.
So talk to me a little bit about what first attracted you to the dental supply industry. What was that journey like?
Educational, informative.
Yeah, but I mean,
humbling.
where did you start?
I was in the
Where did you
nonprofit. Yeah,
start
for
out?
sure. Thank you. So I was in the nonprofit sector from the time recently after I got married, finished college. I went to the nonprofit sector. I was there for like 12 years.
So what kind of industry were we working in there?
It was educational. It was all educational. I'm still in the nonprofit sector now because I've had the merit. I started multiple nonprofit schools, and then and I sit on multiple nonprofit boards. Not all of them are educational. Some of them are for health and medical. But so that's just, I guess that's how I'm wired. But there comes a point in time in life where sometimes you have to hang up the cleats from one industry or focus that you've had, and we were living in Atlanta at the time, and I spoke to a mentor of mine. He mentioned to me that DC Dental, the flagship of Crazy Dental, was looking for a sales guy, and he was the one that convinced me actually to go into sales. I was like, sales what? Like fundraising and development, and I was like, what? That's like people, like they ask other people for things, and it's just like so uncomfortable, and it's like you're the weird odd guy and whatever. But he saw something in me that clearly I had no idea what I was talking about. I'm a young little pisher. I don't know anything. And I met the VP of sales and marketing at that time was actually an old friend of mine. We grew up around the corner from each other. So I went to Baltimore for the interview. Baltimore is where the home office is. There are multiple locations, but that's where it all stems from. And offered me a job. So for a year I commuted. We were living in Atlanta at the time, so I went back and forth every week, flew in and out. And then we uprooted the family and moved to Baltimore, and been there ever since. It's been 14 plus years now. So that's how we do it.
Yeah,
I learned from nothing. I don't know anything about dental. I can't. I mean, you're a doctor, so for you, it's like pulling teeth. Is like, yeah, whatever. Some blood and guts and whatever. I'll help a guy out, make his face look nice, and make him smile, make him feel good, and keep him healthy. You're like one of the smartest guys I've ever met. Not because I'm sitting here and I'm trying to make you feel good. We've had some serious deep conversations. What are they called? DCs now? I think that's what they call them, deep conversations, right? And you're not only knowledgeable in the dental world. You across. Just look at the books here on the wall. Like I asked you when I walked in, you read all the stuff. Like yeah, all of them. Even I like the non-fictional stuff. You read medical stuff. You tremendous amount of knowledge in that brain of yours. So like it's a privilege. You get to meet a lot of people and you become friends with a lot of people that are just not solely in the dental space. They're worldly, and so I didn't know anything about dental products and this and that. And there's some guys I work with, they know every single product and they could tell you the difference in all the, like you, all the scientific makeup of every single molecule, everything is in everything. And my brain doesn't work that way. I'm like, just get the stuff out the door. I don't know, whatever, man.
I'm trying to figure out what kind of weird conversation we must have had.
We've had multiple, on the phone or in person, or like you you have your knowledge base is like one of these guys that could be a professor somewhere, and then it's and then just and you're not in it because you have agenda, and you're also you're not even about talking about foods and religions and just science and everything. You've got your hand. You dabble in all this stuff. So and it's not just like a conversation piece. Like for me, sometimes I have to like read articles or just like I make believe I know what I'm talking about. So I have it's a conversation piece because I talk to so many different people about so many different things. You actually like know the stuff. So it's
or at least maybe I just make believe really well.
But it sounds it's way deeper than anything I can I've ever imagined going. You're a science guy, a mathematician. You got, and you're also a people person. Usually, it doesn't go hand in hand. It's not common where you have that. It's not even a skill. It's your nature. It's who you are. So.
I just like people, and right. Honestly, I'm just curious about everything. But this is not an interview about me, sir. It's an interview about you.
I just saw a great quote. I have to look it up. I saw it a week or two ago. It was from Albert Einstein. He says, if you need to get A to Z, that's logical. But if you want to actually like accomplish something in life, it was like then it's like you have to use your imagination. You have to use your skill. Just be real about it. Yeah, it was a quote. You could probably just Google it or whatever. It'll pop up. It hit me. I was like, oh, that's a good point. Like if it's just logic, then okay, then it's 1 + 1 is 2. But if you want to get out in the world and actually accomplish, you got to use your imagination. You have to spread your wings a little bit. That's you.
So talk to me again about going into this career. Was there a moment? Well, first of all, tell us a little bit about your childhood, and then I want you to think specifically about: was there a moment during your childhood or early life that kind of left a lasting impression on you and defines the way that you interact and the way that you manage and what you put out into the world now in your business relationship?
I feel like I should be laying down on a couch, not sitting in a comfortable chair. It's a great question. Not that the other questions aren't great either. Is there one defining moment in my childhood that I guess I saw in my family? Love for other people, caring for other people, connecting with other people, kindness, being there for other people, even if you don't get any sleep or if it doesn't make any sense, and just trying to dovetail with dental, just watching other people smile and just helping them out. So I guess I saw that from my parents, who got it from their parents, presumably got it from their parents. I never knew my great-grandparents. But so, as a kid growing up, I guess it was just, they planted the seeds, and I see them. I'm just thinking about it now. No one's ever really asked me that, but I see it with my family, and my wife is like that, and my kids are that way. Most of them. No, they all are. So I guess it's ingrained in us. It's just part of our DNA. They obviously have to work on it. It's not automatic. People like my kids sometimes will say to me, because they're growing, they're learning, why are you doing that? Like, what are you doing? But you do it. You lead by example, and then they, same thing in business. But some people that work for you, you just lead by example, and they're like, what? It's like light bulb goes off. So I guess that's part of how and then in school, there are different types of friends, and some are nice to you and some bully you, and you learn how to build yourself up, and you just. I guess everybody ultimately, it's like a river, and the water ends up, it just keeps going. You end up you fulfill your mission, but I think that's I guess it's family. I saw that. Yeah, I saw that from all sides. So thank God I had the privilege of growing up with grandparents, and we saw them all the time, and I guess all the time is relative. We saw them, and my siblings. So it's and then the community in general. My parents were known. And grandparents also were known to be, community oriented and givers and doers and not takers. So I guess what I do for a living, it's on the nonprofit side, which I'm still in. That's how I started. I started in the nonprofit world, and then even in sales now and dental, it's you're doing for others. So if I see in this business, I travel a bunch, so I see that and people come and go. sometimes as a joke, sometimes I'll tell people like, they have to go to a conference and they have their name tags. More often than not, you see someone once a year, twice a year, 3 times a year. The title or their job description, or even really the company they work for often changes. People bounce. And dental, they say, is a joke. It's incestuous, but it's the same. It's really the same core group of people, but a lot of them tend to move into different positions.
The replaceable section of their name tag should be the company and not the name.
Exactly. So I think, but a lot of them have this similar personality where it's, when you're in sales, you're I don't want to use this. I'll just say it because I didn't think about it much, but we're doing this. I wasn't. There were no questions before the podcast, but I think you're there to please the other, and that's what sales is. If your customer's not happy, then you're out of a job. Right? Like, who are you fooling? So even if it's a dental, you're a dentist.
Sales is a permissive process, right?
Yeah. So if you don't take care of the other, then so I guess that's part of, to your question, to your point of there's one there's one moment in time where it helped guide me in this. It's all the same. It's the same character trait of just being there for other people. And sometimes you go a little too far. Like some people have boundaries. I'm not a boundary kind of guy. I just, if it's 1 a.m, I'll respond to a text or an email, or if it's 6 a.m, whatever. You do what you got to do. You got to take care of your people, and it's not, and it has to be real, because some people will fake it. And I find the people that fake it don't make it. They don't make it.
I know one of the things that really struck me whenever I went to visit over at the headquarters is just how very family oriented everything was. I mean, to give people an idea, usually whenever you're traveling, you do things like this, you Uber over the warehouse or what have you. You came and you picked us up in your own car. Howie invited us out to his home, barbecued for us. And, how did he like that official Texas barbecuer award I gave him?
It's still in his office, hanging on the wall.
That's fantastic.
Thank you.
So, it was just very family-like. Even whenever we went into the warehouse, all the porters and everything, everyone knew each other's name, and it was really cool to see just how well everyone got along and how family-like it was, but how efficient they kept it because they had that type of a work environment.
Yeah,
usually you associate people who have a very lax work environment with horrible inefficiencies, but man, those dudes, they were something else.
The systems are clockwork. If it's not 99.999% efficient, David, the owner, you'll hear from him. But at the same time, it's family. Everybody's together. We chill. You can't be stiff, but you just got to. You're right.
I don't know if you remember this or not, but there was a lady who kicked me out of the building. I got there before you got there, and she evidently did know. And oh goodness, that was so funny.
It's funny. She's we're opening up 2 new warehouses now, like we mentioned earlier. So she's in charge of all the operations, putting it together.
Oh, it's still get done.
Yeah,
I'll guarantee that. She was.
Oh yes, baby, watch out. She actually works in our office now, in the home office, the headquarters. She left that warehouse. She's there in and out, but just people that that take care of that for her. So we have an ongoing joke now where she, I mean it seriously to her. She thinks it's funny, but she orders candy for the office. She brings in these bowls. She orders it, I guess, Amazon, whatever, and I end up finishing a lot of it. So I'm like, "What's going on here?" She's like, she's very and but she could chill, she could laugh, have a good time. And I told her last week or 2 weeks, I said, "You're fired. There's no excuse that the bowl is empty." Well, Amazon's shipping it in. I'm like, I don't care about Amazon shipping it in. You need a subscription, not every 2 weeks, every week.
That's actually that's a good question. I hadn't planned on asking you, but how have the UPS shipping issues and the USPS shutdown, which is hugely impacted Amazon, at least out here?
Yes.
How have those affected you guys?
It has. I get emails every day from UPS. We use UPS FedEx, but primarily UPS right now. It's constant. I think offices have to just be realistic that if we send out tracking every night, that if it says it's going to be there tomorrow in 2 days, 85 to 90% of the time it will be there. But you have to just hold on. And sometimes well, how come I have like 7 of my boxes, but the 8th or 9th, like look at tracking because no, it's one of those things we do, but a lot of people don't look at it. Whatever. But yeah, it's an issue. It's an issue. I've been doing this for, like I mentioned, 14 plus years. So you've been doing this longer than I have. So you could talk from your experience in the offices. But it probably used to be a week until you got your stuff, and now, with Amazon and Shine, everybody, it's a day. That's what's expected.
And exactly, it
and
becomes
some
an
even same day.
expectation.
Some people want it same day. That's where the world's going. We as a company.
I'm old enough to remember 4 to 6 weeks.
Wow.
Remember that?
Wow.
Oh no, you're younger than I am.
Yeah. And I also joined this, this space, a lot later than you. But a week was like okay when I started. Now, some people are talking same day. I think we believe as a company 2 days is a good number. And that's what we're focusing on now, building 2 new warehouses. So everything will be 2 days. We do 2 days now anyway, but it's our own expense. We swallow the cost. So we'd rather build out other warehouses and let the it's a company decision instead of we just paying extra to have it delivered. This way it'll be done.
Right.
But yeah, it's people. I think it's funny. We're going to go off tangent here, but I was just at a conference where a bunch of AI people were talking, and I was talking to a bunch of doctors who have DSOs because we have the Crazy Dental side is more for like the 1-2 location. DC Dental is our marketplaces, the DSOs, the GPOs, if you want to rep. And so we were talking about with AI and what people are expecting and how things are changing. But it seems, at least for our generation, now we're going back to like us being around the same age. People still want to talk to people. People still want to know that, you can poke a guy and you can talk to him or her, and we don't want to poke her, then your HR will have your head. But you want to be able to, you want to know there's someone that's really there, that's caring about you, that's taking care of you. The next generation, the kids are all robotics, all robots. I don't know, like, are they like, ew, you talk to somebody? Like, what? I just go on my phone or my app, and those days, who knows, there'll be phones in 20 years from now. I don't know what they'll have, but whatever it is, you just tell your robot to order for you. Don't even have phones anymore. I don't know.
It'll be your neural implant.
Right, neural implant, exactly. So, like, what? You wanted to talk to someone to place your order? What? Like, what? When there was, the box didn't show up, you spoke to somebody? Customer service? What? What's that? I didn't get a like for customer service. I don't even know what that is. But at least for the next 20, 30 years, our career is like, people still want to talk to people. Even with AI, if you call a dental office, and they use someone's voice, thank you for calling Joe Smith, DDS, or whatever, and you're really just talking to a computer. If you would like to reschedule, whatever, and you just tell them what to do, and it reschedules it for you without talking to anybody, which is great. You can do 20, 30, 40 people at one time versus, someone picking up the phone. They claim, I don't know if these statistics are right or not, but they say 30% of the time a phone rings in a dental office, it's not picked up. So like, that's going to go away. But people still want to be able to talk to someone. Like if I travel, I'm staying at a hotel, and it says, have we answered what you're looking for? And already no. Oh, okay, then you could text with somebody. There's different there's different guards. Different gates you got to get through to actually reach somebody. But in general, I think people still want to talk to people. And if someone's if you're just like a truthful, real person, you talk to them, people appreciate that, and they'll and then relationships still matter. And to me, that's part of the 5 ingredients of earning customers, if that's a fair term. And until the day comes where the next generation says, we don't want to talk to anybody. I don't know how they're going to talk to their patients, but whatever, they'll have to hire doctors that actually talk to people. I don't know. Maybe the owners won't talk to. I don't know. Whatever it is, but we as people are still people, and people still need to talk to people, whether it's a spouse or it's a friend or a loved one, whatever it is. You still need to. It's becoming. I can't say the word obsolete because as parents we know like it's kids. It's different. I mean, we were different. Our parents told us that we were different than when they grew up. But I think people talking to people is becoming less and less. But it's in business. I truly believe it's still going to win out. If you can get around, talk to people, and you show that you're a person, you have a relationship with them, they're more likely to work with you. That's what I think. Yes, granted, maybe in the DSO space, it's there's if you don't have the price and this whatever, there's certain there's certain, it's a commodity, but there's certain lines that they're expect, there's certain boxes they're expected to check off, but I think also in that general, people want to talk to people, and you know, it's always going to work. But a guy like me is a joke within the company is I need my own HR guy. Sometimes I have to be careful what I say or how I act, but whatever. I don't care. Just be genuine. People are cool at that.
So you had mentioned reps a little while back. Now, talk to us a little bit about how your experience with Crazy Dental is different from dealing with a traditional like Henry Schein or Patterson or who have you, where a rep comes to your office and you've got a relationship with this rep. We were just talking about the importance of relationships. How do you guys bridge that gap? What do you do that's different? What do you do that finds that works for your company?
So the days of reps knocking on doors, I think, are slowly petering out. I think depending where you are in the country, some places it's more common now than others. It's expensive to send the rep out to the door and knock. How many offices can a rep see every day? And I think that as the world evolves, and not that I believe in evolution, but I'm just saying, like as the world moves forward, people and technology is in our lives, not part of our lives. It is our life. So people don't want, they think it's a bot. I don't know if it is or it isn't, but that's most dentists today or office staff. People are knocking on doors and they walk in and they say, "I'll do this," and some people love that. They walk into the back. They're their buddies. They bring a pizza and donuts or whatever it is. They send them to the movies, assuming it's all legal, whatever it is, and they go in the back. They see what they need. They place their done, and that's some people really like that. But with technology today, there are a lot of people that just want to go into their office. They want to sit down and eat their sandwich and drink their coffee, whatever it is, and just place their order and be done. And they don't want people coming in. And the manufacturers struggle with it today also. Not to go off on a tangent, but how do you what's the word I'm looking for? How do you bring out a new product? That's not the word I'm bringing out. But there's no way to enlist it. But no one knows anything about it. It used to be, the rep would come to your office and they bring you lunch and talk to everybody. And I think people are becoming more efficient, and they're more kind of time constraints, and they're trying to make more money. It's clockwork now, and it's seldom where actually a rep from a manufacturer shows up to your office and talks about a new product. So we actually, as a company, are working out ways that we can work with manufacturers to help them introduce products to the world. But it's a challenge. So same thing with us. We found a niche where there's a lot of people. There are a lot of people that price is king. And if we're able to go to our competitors on the Crazy Dental side and see what other competitors charge, just match the lower price. So we can't just go ahead and say, okay, now we're after a few weeks, we got these guys on board and then just jack up their prices. We can't do that. We're regulated by our competitors. If our competitors have a low price because this website is lower, and different companies charge different amounts for different products. Some say, well, we're going to focus on, the main manufacturers, and then we're going to make money there. Some say we're going to focus on house brand. We're going to make our money there. So we do is we have to take the lowest price, we circle it, and that's what we charge. So we can't just play games. Someone last weekend just told me, oh no, guy says to me he's having a conference. He wants me to sponsor his conference. Okay, so and it's like, yeah, I'm a customer of yours. So I just, I figured, what the heck, I'll look in our system. The guy hasn't ordered from us in 13 months. I was like, by the way, you haven't ordered from us in 13 months. It's like, oh my gosh, I better call I don't want to say her name, but I better find out what's going on. We went to this competitor because the rep came to the door and told us we're matching all the prices. So I said to him, Doc, do you think that the prices are still matched from 13 months ago? They're not matched from 13 months ago. I guarantee you, at 2 months after, we're doing this we're, we're the middle of November now almost. So they didn't do it from last year, October. I guarantee you by December, your prices were jacked up 15, 20, 30%. And there's nothing matched. So we find is that if you're able to, we have a customer service, stellar customer service, Minnesota. I'll be there on Wednesday. But so we find that's still the people relationship. But if you don't have the person knocking them door to door, listen, I started out as a rep on the DC side. I know what it's like. It's a grind, and that's how you feed your family. But if you can find a way to fulfill that need, but not have someone actually talking to you, you slash all the prices. It's the same product, right? It's the same bond. It's the same bib. It's the same whatever instrument. It doesn't matter what it is, right? It's just how is it getting to your office? So if we found a way where you just go online, it's the cheapest product, and if you need to speak to someone, we're there. We're just knocking on the door. You know, if I come to visit Joe Smith and Christina Aguilera, well, she was a singer, right? Because their office, right? I have to drive from point A to point B. That's time. That's value. That's a cost, right? If you're able to remove all that, and then it's the same product. It's not any different. Okay, house brand, it's a little different depending where it's manufactured. A lot of those are also the same. Just people don't know that.
No, absolutely.
Yeah. So we remove all that.
If I'm not mistaken, Voco actually produces in their factory a lot of the other brands. So does Kettenbach, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes. Our house brand stuff. I mean, it's a little under the hood here, but some of the same manufacturers, the same factories, it's the same stuff. And it's
only difference is the sticker that gets put on it.
That's correct, and the price tag.
So you do make a great point there about reps. One of the things I always tell other dentists is your rep is not your friend. Their entire job is to extract money from your wallet. Talk to us a little bit about how the experience differs in that way whenever you're working with Crazy Dental.
So what we do is so there's in the way in my mind, I think also in their company's perspective. So there's, there are some customers that fit your model, and there's some that don't. So I say this often, like if you're the type of customer, type of guy, doctor or office manager or assistant or hygienist, whoever places the orders, because those are the people we typically work with, unless it's to pay bills, right? Then it's a different view. But so some people they enjoy having 18 windows open up on their computer, and they're like looking for every single item. How can I get a better deal? This, better deal, that. Whatever. I think they're wasting their time because just sit and take care of one patient and you made up the difference. Whatever. Plus, whatever. Okay, so everybody has their like we spoke about earlier. Everyone has their character trait. Everybody that's what they talk. That's what talks to them, and that's how they grew up or whatever it is. So that customer, add us to one of your tabs on your computer. Give us a shot. But for the customer that feels, this is at least in my mind, and the teams that I work with and I lead, that a customer that really just wants to know that people are there and really going to take care of them. At the same time, they're going to get the best price. That's our customer. Right? Yeah. On the Crazy Dental side, so if you're a DSO or a GPO, whatever, it's a little different.
I was actually, my next question for you was, what is your customer avatar? So, I mean, if you're going to be speaking to podcast listeners here, ostensibly they're dentists, what would you say, hey, if you're this person, you should give us a shot because we are your guys? I know some things come to my mind. I don't know if they're part of your avatar or not, but people who don't want to futz around to save 2% on supplies because they know they're going to come out cheaper long run dealing with Crazy Dental. Because what I found in my practice, at the time, there were some things I needed that you guys didn't have. I know a lot of the implant stuff, and you guys do have more of that now. Yeah. But what I found is that even though the price kind of went up and down, the mean of the price was actually 3 or 4% lower than going with pretty much anyone else. I don't want to name names on that one, but I'm sure from earlier parts of our conversation, they can figure out who I was doing business with before. But talk to us about that avatar. Appeal to the dentists out there. Hey, I'm your guy.
Thank you. I think it's simple. It's short and simple. If you, as a dentist or dental office, want to make more money by saving money elsewhere, that you need the product anyway, you got to be crazy not to use Crazy Dental. Our model. It's simple. It's sweet. It's quick, and it's efficient and effective. It's people say, oh well, I'll match their prices. Matching prices doesn't do anything because they jack you up a few seconds later because they got to make money too. They got to feed their family, and it's the same product. And if people are like, well, it's such a pain. It's so annoying. I'm only saving 5%. It's more than 3 or 4%. The average is more like 10 or 15%.
But what percentage does payroll take up in the average practice versus what percentage are supplies?
Bingo. So I tell people all the time is if you want to hire someone else and you're trying to find a place to make up that difference, supplies is your first place. It's so easy because it's not like a piece of equipment that you have to spend $50,000, $100,000 on or whatever. It may stay there for 10, 15, 20, 30 years. But this is something you order every single month. Some people every single week. Some people every single day. Whatever, they don't have their act together. But But right,
Jay is laughing at me because I refused to carry inventory in my practice. I only had what we needed for the next week or 2 weeks.
yes, that's why actually
I'm surprised you remember that.
it's one of those things. You know, when you're drunk and you drink, you know, sometimes you remember things. This is water.
This
by
is
the way.
water.
You know, that's why we actually have officially an $8.95 shipping charge. It costs more to ship a product than $8.95. That's just to try to remind people, like, oh, I have to pay $8.95. Maybe I'll wait and I'll consolidate and order more products at once. We actually have it with TBOD. It's TBOD ship. It's just free shipping at TBOD 10 for 10% off on orders. But I think for the simple, you know, 1-2 practice. Once you get past that, we have a whole different division, and we take care of the same philosophy, but a different, you know, it's just a different price points and a different structure. But it's very, if you want the ability to just go online, place your order when you want. I say this is a joke sometimes, but like, you know, we were talking earlier, said I wasn't the first person that came with this idea. You could do a podcast in the bathroom, right? So like, nobody knows. It's just whatever. You know, you have to go in the middle. So like I tell people as a joke, like to bring your laptop in the bathroom, you know, if you want to conserve your time and just place your order and done, like whatever you are. And it could be in the middle of the night also. You could be watching a ball game or watching your favorite movie, eating popcorn or whatever it is. And then just get your order done and it's finished. And you don't have to deal with anybody or anything. And 95% of our products ship same day. So it's going to ship and done. And the pricing is not going to change on you. We're not going to bring you, most of our competitors, they'll bring you in and then price increase. They don't do that. We can't.
Right.
Because we have 110% guarantee. Look at our competitors.
That's actually why I first went with you guys, because I got tired of playing that game, because I looked at my invoices and I actually charted increases in prices. It's a lot of work. But what I would see is it would begin trickling up, and I'd call my rep and I'd say, hey, they forgot to apply XYZ this time. Oh, I'll get right on that. But it happened consistently enough. I knew that was just part of the game. Yes, you know, they tell you you're going to get this special price for 12 months, and you do the math on that. And, you know, 2 months in, all of a sudden, oh, you're on a slightly different one. Someone made a keystroke error. You know, but unless you're on top of it, and that costs labor, and it costs time, and it costs stomach lining.
And there are a lot of people in our space, to their point, that like, you know, use Net 32 as an example, which, by the way, we're matching now, as long as it's not gray. If it's gray, it's not happening.
Speak to that and talk to them about gray, and talk to them about the actual issues with gray products, because I think a lot of people think, oh, well, you know, well, it didn't go through the correct chain, you know, like it didn't go from Patterson to whatever. But there gets onto the darker side of gray some of these things that are being made that are just utterly counterfeit, right? So talk to us a little bit about that and how you guys combat that issue in your ordering.
So I guess to your last point first, combat the issue, it's impossible. Some of the largest distributors are the largest dealers in gray. It's impossible to combat it. The manufacturers try to combat it. It's impossible. Just so people understand. You know, because we all come from different backgrounds, so and different, we have different personalities, and we have different positions within a dental office or dental company. So the manufacturer is the company that makes the product. They'll do the R&D, or they buy it from someone else, whatever it is. They make the product. Let's use examples. We have over 70 that we work with, but I'll give some of the prime examples. 3M, which is now called Solventum, right? Or let's say GC America or Kerr, or Dentsply. Those are called manufacturers. They have the product. They make the product, or they buy it from someone else. They just slap their name on it, whatever their tag on. But they're what they call the manufacturer. Like when you have a box in your office of a product, you know, if it's an instrument, whatever, you know, it could be Hugh Freedy, J&J, American. I'm not picking. I'm just throwing names out. Not that I'm, you know, no one's written us a check here to use their names. I'm just the names that are more popular, common, whatever, right? And then there's such as a house brand where the companies reserve the right to, you know, to purchase a product from wherever they like to purchase it from. It's hopefully a good product and it's a quality product. Usually less expensive than in any manufacturer, and so that's what we call manufacturer bucket, right? And then there's a distributor like us, like you know, Shine, Patterson, Banco, Darby, then us. Like those are the top 5 now. But so that's how that works, right? So we distribute the product from the manufacturer. Manufacturer doesn't typically ship it directly to the consumer, to the doctor's office, to the customer. They use us, and then we ship it, right? There are some that are direct, like to your point, Kettenbach earlier. They're direct. Ultradent is direct. Brassler, which is owned by Shine, that's direct, right? There are some companies you ordered, even parts of Dentsply are direct. You actually order from Dentsply, I think Edge, whatever. Edge, the same way, right? And then fine. So what happens is, in that traffic, let's call it, right, when there's movement from manufacturer to distributor. A distributor would be a case like us, right? These are now the Crazy Dental, and then the customer, which is you, whoever it is, whoever is listening, right? Sometimes the manufacturer will take this product. Let's give you a simple example, right? Let's just say this is a dental product, okay? So cheers. So it's a dental product, and in America, a bunch of rich guys, or gals, or whatever, We're in Texas, we could say guys. so they say they're going to sell this dental product for $100, okay? So they sell it to us for $100. We in turn sell it to the customer for $110, $120, $125, whatever it is, okay? But if they want to sell this product to a third world country, okay, or South America or Asia, I'm not picking on anybody. So we love Asia and Australia and the Middle East and Korea and everybody else, right? But if they want to sell it there, right, they can't sell this product for $100. Why? Because no one's going to buy it. No dentists. They can't afford it, right? All these missions, these wonderful people that go to wherever they go around the world, in Africa, and they try to get you to go. I'm sure you've done some of those, and it's beautiful. And they do it. It's free, and they even have it local in the United States where people can't afford it. They have missions, weekend, Saturday, Sunday, or Friday, Saturday, and people that can't afford, unfortunately, can't afford the dental work. They do it for free, and doctors give out their time and charity. So, which is great. So they can't afford to buy this. If I'm not even talking about the shipping cost to get it to wherever it's going, right? It's just they can't. Now, between you and I and everybody else listening to this podcast, this doesn't really cost $100 anyway. Yeah, the R&D. That's not true. The manufacturer's paying maybe $20, so there's $30 for it, and then they're selling it to us, a crazy DC, for $100, and then we go ahead. We have to stay in business, so we sell it, for $110, $120, whatever it is, right? So what happens to this product? So they'll sell it to a third world country or somewhere else for $50 because it really costed them $30 to make it, right? They're making $80 when they sell it to us, but they're only making $20 when they sell it. And then people go to these countries. Sometimes they can even get their hands on it before it even leaves the United States or wherever it's being manufactured. And they go ahead and they quickly buy it for the $50, or maybe they buy a lot so they can get it for $45, whatever it is, right? And then they ship it back to the United States, and they sell it here. Right, so the manufacturer doesn't like it because instead of them making $80 or $70 on this product, right, because they're selling it to us for $100 and it really cost them, let's say, $30, so making $70, but they sold it in another country where the cost of living, people can't afford it, so they're only making $20. So these guys go, they buy it, and they send it back here, and they sell it here. Okay, so sometimes it can be perfectly fine. There's nothing wrong with it. They found, but there are plenty of times we don't know where this product was. Or did someone get their handle on it, counterfeit, like you mentioned, they opened up the box and put something else in there. Or did it sit outside, in the sun, in the blazing sun in the Mideast or Africa somewhere, and, for weeks or months, you have no idea, right? And so the manufacturer, doesn't want to guarantee the product because, they really wanted to make more money and sell it.
Well,
and they also, you don't know where the stuff was, how long it's been on a boat or a truck, and is it still good anymore?
Right, because it's not just the expiration date; it's also the shipping environment. But
and did someone open up a box and put other things in there, like old stuff? So they just put it in a new box that says, the expiration date is a lot later, but they just took it. You don't know. You really have no idea where the stuff's coming from or the origination. And
well, the thing is that this market, in the way that it's worked with these manufacturers, they sell it overseas. Somebody goes and picks it up for lower than you guys as a redistributor, a legal redistributor,
right,
can get it. That's also opened up this market where you've got like these Chinese companies who are completely counterfeiting down, because a lot of the stuff's made out in China.
Yeah.
And so they're completely counterfeiting it down to the exact syringe it comes in, or capsules, the boxes they make. So it's legitimately the same thing, but it's not the same thing, right, because that lot number is not going to have gone through the manufacturer. So the manufacturer is not going to honor anything.
Correct.
That
if something goes wrong,
to
your point, perfect. If someone puts a bond and it doesn't take, and if something goes wrong or whatever, that you can't go back to the manufacturer and say, the doctor's office is not. You don't get buy-gets. That's for sure. You're not going to get. But they're not. You can't go to the manufacturer rep, Christy, that comes to your office and she's all like, you call her up and say, and then she looks at the box. She's like, I'm not giving you a new one, and nothing's guaranteed. And then the patient's not happy. Patient sometimes doesn't really know the difference, but the doctor, yes, you saved money on the front end, but on the back end, it could be a problem. And there are plenty of offices that use this stuff. Plenty.
Well, there's plenty of offices who buy them through what they think are legitimate means. I've actually had a counterfeit product come to me from Henry Schein. And whenever I reported it, they're like, "Oh, where'd you get it?" I was like, "I got it from you."
Yeah, they're the
I felt like it was that drug commercial back in the 80s. I learned it from watching you.
In the country. I don't know if I should say that or not, but I think everybody knows that. It's not. I don't think it's a secret. But at the end, when you're family owned, right? See, and you don't have to report to your investors, and you're not publicly traded. I'm not here to knock anybody. It's a different model, and there are plenty of times where it's perfectly fine, and there are times where you get yourself stuck in trouble, and it doesn't pay off. It's just not worth it. So we as a company, just interesting you ask this question. So when we started, when you start out in the dental business, almost everybody starts out great because you can't make it. You can't start selling product based off, where our ingredients are. It ships right away. Our pricing is lower than everybody else. We have relationships. We talk to people, But when we started out 20 years ago, a lot of our stuff was gray, and people didn't like it until even today. Sometimes people say, "Oh, they're gray." It's not true. We haven't been gray in almost 10 years, but. Mm-hmm. But it's like, oh, because they don't like us. I was at a conference somewhere and they had like a gambling night, just for charity, whatever. So they gave everybody chips. I happen not to gamble, so they gave everybody chips, and the chips are worth tickets, and you can get prizes, whatever. So I'm a nice guy, so I got some tickets, for the chips because I'm not gambling, and I gave the tickets to people. So somebody was there, and the person says, "I want to give it away." So I don't want to say if it's a male or a woman because some people listening will probably know in there, whatever. So the person's like, "Oh, you were DC Dental, Crazy Dental. I hate you guys." I'm like, what? This person is a Shine rep, and they know we're up to 30% less on the same product. Mm-hmm. So they're like, "I hate you guys." And here I'm giving them tickets to get stuff.
Did she still take your tickets?
She took my tickets. But whatever. That's whatever. But
I want you to dig in because while we're on that topic, you have worked as a rep before for DC Dental. And the truth is, as we were implying earlier, the name on the badge changes a lot more often than the badge, the company on the badge rather changing more often than the name. You've had other reps from different companies come to work for DC Dental before, and so you have personal experience with these things. What dirty rep tricks did they try to bring into DC Dental? Because I know you guys have dealt with this, because I think Howie mentioned it whenever we were over. What dirty rep tricks did they try to bring into DC Dental that you were like, no, this isn't how we do things here? What should people be expecting from reps from other companies so that they can watch for them?
So the number one, I think, is what we addressed earlier, is price change. It's a game, and a lot of them play it. And it's interesting. We did a survey once. We actually did it with our bud, Glenn Vo. We did this with a competitor distributor of ours. We took a survey of a lot of invoices, and for one particular distributor, not one product at the same price on any of them. So what they do is depending where you live and the type of practice you have, they know how they can game it, and that's one trick that that's a no by us. And besides, we don't even
give me that poll. I'll put it up in TBOD.
Okay, and then there's other games. And there's another part where we're handcuffed with this because number one, we can't because we're regulated based off our competitors' pricing. We just charge the least expensive product, that price of the product, and number two. When I started, 20% of the people were ordering online. Now it's over 90%, probably 95%. So the people, the ones that complain, and they like to send you messages on social media, "Hey, I want to deal on this or deal on that," which we do. And the people that somehow always order the wrong products and they need to return late, the tag, whatever. But most of the people, you don't really know them anymore because they go online, they order, and they're happy, and that's it. So I don't know who they are. So you can't even really play that game of jacking prices and playing games with people because you don't really know who they are. So we don't even like, well, in this area they work in an affluent neighborhood, so we can we
Right.
don't play that because we don't even look. Yeah, technically we do lead in technology in the dental space. I think it's hands down where everybody knows that. So we technically could go by zip code or go by that. We could do that, but it's just not who we are.
I think that. So we mentioned earlier that DC Dental and Crazy Dental are family owned.
Yes.
And so I'm going to bring something up here that might be a little controversial, but you guys are all Jewish. Yeah. And so what struck me when we were up there talking to you is...
Except for that warehouse manager that was...
Right, right. So...
Her husband actually was
So
Jewish.
Her
first husband.
The stereotype about Jews is how they want to save money. But you guys... You guys are as neurotic about saving money for your customers as you are of saving money.
Absolutely.
It was entertaining to see just how passionate people got about it. So talk a little bit about that, because I think that's just so cool about you guys.
Thank you. Yeah, we live what we are. I use that analogy all the time. I was actually just at a conference. I do this all the time, by the way. I shouldn't let the secret out of the bag, and no one's gonna ever do this for me, help me out anymore. But I go to conferences, and what I'll do is if I there are a couple of DSOs that on the side I'll consult with to help them out. So they let me go under their names because I do actually do stuff for them, and then it saves me thousands of dollars. I'm like, no, that's who we are. That's what we do. Like, the saying, you are what you eat.
Right.
In Texas, I'm sure that's pretty that's profound. But so I was just at a conference a couple of, I go to a lot of conferences. I was at one, and we have an alliance with a new PMS system. And actually, Glenn actually set us up.
Is that Archie?
Archie, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Jonathan's a fantastic guy.
Yes. So boom.
God, it's so good to see small companies actually doing well. So thank you guys for helping them.
Thank you. You're welcome. So I called Jonathan. There's that smile. The lady who runs it's a client of ours. She has 3 practices, building a 4th. Talk to her, deal with her all the time. She started with 1, and then we take care of her. She's in the DC area. So she's like, hey, you got to come down. You got to come check it. So SmileCon. So it was in DC. So, it's right near there. Usually where it works, when it's right near you don't go. Only when you have to travel, like to Texas, that's when you go. Whatever.
Right.
So I was like, sure. So I went down for there. It's a great.
Them's the rules.
Appreciate it.
Them's
Thanks
the
for
rules,
the invite.
man.
No, appreciate it. It's great. So I appreciate it. We've been friends for what, I don't know, almost a decade now. So I went to SmileCon Friday, and Archie had a booth there. They actually had a double booth there, and there were a couple other people that we work with, also alliances that were there. So I called Jonathan. He's running a massive business. He's a friend. He's a good guy, even though he's from France, but he's a good guy, So the United States and France don't always get along.
And I should take a moment to say something really quick before we get too far away from me having said something about Archie. Yeah. I was at one point the CDO for Archie. I am no longer affiliated with the company, just for anyone who's listening to the podcast, and for the FCC. Go ahead. Sorry about that, Jay. I just realized my timer was running on how long I had to wait or how long I could wait to say.
Oh, really? See, I told you you're an educated guy. You know everything. The guy knows everything about everything.
I like to stay out of trouble.
No, I'm saying, yeah, but you're knowledgeable about everything. Anyway, so I wasn't making that up earlier. So this guy.
Really, truly, guys.
So I called Jonathan. He picks up his phone. He's like, hey, what's up? And I mentioned, I saw that on social media that they were there. He's like, yeah, we're here. Well, let's talk, whatever it is. So I said to him, I asked him, I said, they want like $359 for me to walk in right now, right? And I'm only here for a few hours because you mentioned Orthodox Jews. I got to get back for the Sabbath. So he's like, wait 1 second. I think we have one person that didn't come. I'll go downstairs. I'll walk downstairs, which he did. He met us at the front, at the desk over there. And he's like, you know what, Jay, just put him under Archie for me. We're buds. We work together. And it's on me.
I'm sure you had 4. I walked in for free. I am sure you had 4 or 5 other people you were going to call if he couldn't do it.
Bingo. So we are what we eat, and that's how we roll. And
I've literally seen this.
Yeah, and it's not cheap to try to cut corners. It's just don't waste time, don't waste money, be efficient, be effective. Just live the life that you're trying to roll over it and assist others with, and then boom, it's a mentality. So like to your question, 2 questions prior about some of the sneaky tricks, it's very hard for us to have sneaky tricks because that's just not who we are. So how do we save people money? So we work deals with manufacturers. That's what we do.
You guys have to brand who you are a lot better, I think, because you've got the crazy dental thing going on, right? Yeah. Oh, it's crazy. The prices are insane. But, the culture of the company is, I think, for me, and that won't be true for a lot of people, but for me, the culture of the company and your philosophies are actually more important than the price savings. I don't use you guys anymore because I don't practice anymore. Right. But whenever I did practice, we did. Not as much as Jay would have liked.
Still have that against you. Yeah.
But you guys didn't carry the implant pieces I needed.
Right. That's right.
But
implants are a whole separate. I was talking to this guy.
That's a lot of SKUs.
Yeah, and it's not only that. It's. I was actually talking. I was at a conference with Tower, Eric Moran, this past weekend in Atlanta. Before that, I was in San Diego at EDSO, whatever. So I was talking to some other people about, that's like, what do you guys not carry that we have, that we would need? And one of them is implants. We actually work with a group. I think it's called AMB, but there are over 60 implant companies. Like to a point we discussed earlier, direct. There's direct, like we mentioned, like the Ultradent and the Kettenbach, and for even some of the Voco only sells to. You mentioned Voco only sells to 3 distributors now, but they're very weird about that. But there's so many companies out there.
Voco's a weird company. I love their stuff.
Yeah, they're expensive, but their good stuff is really good. It's really good. So I've been trying to get into them. Yes, Leaf.
I was a KOL for Voco back in the days. So
you told me that.
Voco, I love you guys, but you are weird. You have the worst names for your product in the industry. I mean, have you thought about this? I know you've got a quirky sense of humor. Okay,
they're
so
very long names.
If I'm doing a cavity filling, right? Filling it. Hey, hand me the bond. FU, Futura bond.
Right. That's fine.
Hey Doc, what are you going to be using to fill this in?
F bomb. F
right?
FB.
That's right. So, what are you going to be using to fill this, Doc? Oh, heavy flow. I'm just going to leave. I'm going to leave that joke out there. Yeah,
I don't get it.
Worst names in the industry, weird practices like their tolerances and things like that they deal with in their factory are pretty freaking tight. Yeah. I didn't get a chance to go to Germany though, so they should have brought me to Germany. I'd still be a KOL.
You probably still would have been there.
That's right.
So we try to get those guys, but so it's like. So
I know. I asked you. I begged you.
Yeah, I see him at conferences live. Our guys talk to him. They have excuses. I don't know. Whatever. Hopefully it'll happen.
Ain't nobody getting Voco for cheap. Just period.
That's right. So it's like the implants, like to that point. Just so it's. I'm the guy with ADHD. So sometimes I forget what I was talking about. I'm actually impressed. I don't know what you put in this water, but whatever it is, it's working.
It's brain water right there.
Brain water. So, so the 60 implant companies. So for a company like us, we're number 5. We're in the hundreds of millions, not in the billions that some of our competitors are. We're growing. We just keep chiseling away. That's how it's price, it's relationships, it's getting the stuff on time, it's being real. It's nothing, and that's how we do it. But so the average dental office is not ordering from the same implant company. So when it comes to regular distributors. So yes, people using Voco. Whatever it is, it's the same products they're using.
But the implant parts are all over the.
They're all over the place. So we're going to carry one line. Why are they going to buy that one from us? Like how we? It just didn't make sense. And
there's a couple of companies out there that make aftermarket fixtures and things like that you guys might want to look at because they make it for a very broad range. And if you could negotiate to get their SKUs in, then you would have things that.
I keep pushing our guys. Our main guy that runs this whole division, he lives in our Cleveland office. He's the president of our company. I keep talking about Botox because it's becoming very popular now.
I don't see how people are making that profitable.
I don't know. You're on that. Like I mentioned, I just get the stuff out the door. I don't know. My joke, and I meant it seriously. I said as a joke, like when it used to be the manufacturer would come to our office and bring lunch and try to tell us like to you would drool all over this because like each guy's like. Day one is this company. They're like, well, this product, the scientific formula. It's because it's a little off on this one, so we're a little better than that guy. And the next guy comes to the same company that the day before those guys, put down like, well, ours is better than those guys because our molecular formula is better.
Right, and you have to have the science to understand it.
Yeah,
so.
I'm like, whatever. I'm like, dude, if you bring me lunch, I'll show up and listen. If you don't bring me lunch, I'm not showing up. That was my motto.
But you're right. I love that kind of stuff. Like, the bond angle is a 15 degree versus a 20 degree. Oh, wait a minute. It doesn't have as far to separate, so it's going to have a lower delta G. The reaction's going to happen faster.
Exactly.
Right. Well played, sir. Well played.
I always like to say, like, to me, a dentist is an artist. Right? You're doing construction here. You're building this magnificent facility here. But like, and that's how your mind works. Also, you have your whole wood shadow. But dental, like, and every artist, they like their brush, right? If you're a friend of an artist and you just want to give them a present, you don't bring a brush to an artist because
no.
Right? So a dentist is that's what they do. They're so they beautify things. They're artists. They make people smile. So to me, it's like I don't know the difference. If I learn about that, unless I really like dig in, no pun intended, like the two, and like you were just talking about now, and learn, like whatever. So to me, it's just whatever. The dentist should figure out which instrument. They're the artists, so they know what bond they want to use and what they know what works for them. Now, granted, it's a totally different subject, but like people love to use the word cavity wipes. That's like the most popular term.
Almost none of them are using actual cavity wipes because they're so expensive.
Yeah, but you know why? Because they give it to colleges for free. So everybody, that's what they're used to. It's a good name. It rings well. Like before, he's saying like some names don't ring well. Cavity wipes somehow it sounds good. It's smooth. It rolls off the tongue, and you're in school. That's what you use.
Well, and people want to invest in what they perceive as being quality.
Yes, and it works, and that's what they're used to. But
during COVID,
yes,
doctors don't a lot of times understand the products that they use, and they don't. To your point earlier, they don't understand the chemistry behind it. So during the COVID outbreak, I looked at it as like, oh, it kills this virus. Cool, SARS-CoV, which it's a coronavirus. It's almost identical to COVID. So it's like, oh, this is going to have the same active spots. It's going to have the same protein binding places. So cavity wipes are going to work on it. So I just started using cavity wipes and the hypochlorous acid. Remember because we had to fog the operatories and all that crazy stuff.
Yeah, I remember those days.
But people gravitated toward the cavity wipes because they knew for a fact that was the big name. And if you got to use something, you might as well use the biggest name. That way there's no liability in choice.
Bingo. And there's 10 or 15 other wipes that and then it's interesting,
Home Depot makes wipes that actually are appropriate for use in the.
Wow.
Yeah.
There was one time I remember I pushed. We're very open minded. So if there's new products, we on board them, whatever. So I remember I pushed our procurement people and I asked her to add. I can't remember which one it was anymore now, but they say it's better for people to actually use it at home also. So it's with a C. It's skipping my mind. When you have 4,500 products, whatever, 4,500, that's impossible. But
like
Clorox, I think it was Clorox. I
Yeah.
think that's what it was. I think it was Clorox. And apparently it's better for the chairs, the leather on the chairs, than some of the other guys, and that's their marketing angle. But they don't sell that many, so people don't even know that.
Right.
Sometimes people say like, I use this wipe. I don't want to pick names because we're agnostic. We sell it. I use this wipe, and it's not good for the chair. Do you have any wipes that are good for the chair? But the point I was trying to bring out is like what you're used to in college, unless you really dig into it and try different. There's a lot of people today. A lot of kids graduate college, whatever. They're young adults, and they'll go work for a DSO for a year or two until they want to go out on their own, or they'll work as an associate somewhere, sometimes the office they let them try different things, and some people try. I don't want to be the guy they try it on, but sometimes they try different, and then whatever they fall in love with a product for whatever reason. They'll tell me sometimes, yeah, I love this one because of this. Whatever floats your boat, man. Whatever it is, but to me, and sometimes it could be, you would know better than I, but sometimes technique will also, foster better
100%.
For different products.
Particularly for the cavity wipe sprays and things like that.
There you go.
You've got a certain amount of time it's supposed to be remaining in direct contact versus being wiped off.
There you go.
It's like 2.5 or 3 minutes. Ain't nobody doing that.
Right. And then even on the bond, the composites, with all these things, cements, depending on how you do it, maybe you fit better with one manufactured product over a different. But to me, it's like, either way, because I'm the sales guy, I'm wrong. So I'm always I'm wrong. Even in marriage, you're always just wrong, right? So it just that's
So
how
you're
we
saying
go.
sales is like a marriage, is what you're saying?
Yes. Yeah, it is. You got to keep the like mentioned. You got to keep your customer happy. If you don't, you don't.
Whenever they open extra offices, like having kids together.
It's there goes another tuition. It's it's a thank God, it's a blessing. But it's yeah, it really is. It's really like a marriage. If you ever really like Howie, you walk in his office now on one of his charts, it says own the customer. Like in our minds, how do we get to that point where when you speak to whatever Samantha Jones, and someone asks her, where do you order your products from? And they say, crazy enough, they say decent enough. Like where you have to get to that point. Now, the average dentist, I believe, orders from 30 different business partners.
And there's a reason for that, and I want to get into it. It's one of my next questions. So run with that.
Right. Yeah, I was just so they're going to use us and use someone else and like whatever. But how do you get to the point where, let's call it, you get to the top of the cliff and you're the majority, or in their mind, when they go speak to Jody or to Tom to go place the order, they say, just do me a favor and go get it on Crazy. Like when does that key turn? And in our world, we're always trying to figure out how to do it, and it's becoming more and more of a challenge because loyalty in general in 2025, almost 2026, it shrinks. I always use this analogy. I like to use it. I may be wrong, but like I ask people all the time, like, where's the last time you filled up gas? Right? And sometimes they'll say Costco, or they'll say Exxon, or your local whatever, Turkey Hill, whatever, wherever you live. I don't know, whatever it is, right? And then like, where'd you fill the time before that? And they'll be like,
place.
oh, maybe sometimes, yeah. Sometimes they'll say like, oh, BP, or I was on the road. So like, people just you go fill up gas, right? Or if you're a Popeyes guy, or if you're like you're a Chick-fil-A guy or a McDonald's guy, do you go to the same one every single time? I don't know. Some people do because they're loyal, and some people are like, yeah, whatever. I'm just gonna go get the food I want to eat and whatever. So that it's becoming that way also. Like so if you work on a marketplace, a lot of marketplaces, and you just buy because then they have all the products listed because it's crazy similar to a marketplace. Then you're paying a subscription. That's a whole other saga, by the way. GPO subscription.
I remember you guys were developing software to basically create a marketplace within.
Yes, that's right, correct. And we believe that's really the future. That's where things are going.
That's not something I wasn't supposed to say, is it?
No,
Because
it's
I can have
completely
it cut
fine.
out.
It's yeah,
Okay.
yeah. You can put that out there. That's where everybody's going. Everybody knows it. It's not a secret. The larger companies are challenged with that because they have so many reps, and that's what their company is built on. But as you see, Patterson's gone private now. Shine is changing leadership. Actually, one of their top guys I was with over the weekend, and she's telling me like it's changing. It used to be like, I don't know if I should say this or not, but whatever. She was like, it used to have a certain culture, and now they're like, and businesses evolve, and that's what happens. So things are going to change. But we truly believe that's where things are going. We could do that because we're small. We're smaller. We're a family owned. It's a lot easier to. There's no lot of how many lines of red tape.
It's harder to turn an aircraft carrier than it is a.
Yeah. So we spend a lot of time with technology, a lot of time on that. Not because we're robots or we're people, but that's the future where things are going. So people in general that's what they're doing. They're ordering online, and we want to be that guy that's and it has to be a smooth transaction. People like to go to Amazon. So people ask me all the time, like, oh, Amazon, you worry about Amazon? Right. So there was a time I think they had an offer for Patterson. They never happened. Patterson obviously just sold. But, if you go to the average Joe, right, or I don't know, pick a woman, whatever it is, right, Abby, and you ask them, like, how many products, do you order from Amazon? Yes, absolutely. Who doesn't, right? And then you ask them, how many products do you typically get when you place an order on Amazon? And they'll say 1, 2, whatever. And it's just different boxes that come in, maybe 3, whatever. But in a dental practice, you hope they're ordering 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 products at one time. So how do we become that guy or that company that people are comfortable when they're going to be ordering, all those products at one time? So Amazon, we're not worried about because that's just not how it's set up. We want to set up our company in a way where people are comfortable and it's a smooth transaction. It's simplified. They get what they need. They know that they go to our website and it's done in a few minutes. They have what they need, quantities, and we try to look at the popular websites out there and mirror what they're doing and echo with how they set up their systems.
So I think that you guys have really two versions of clients. You've got those guys who haven't ordered in 13 months because they're like deal hoppers, and you've got the people who don't want to spend the labor on doing deal hopping, but they do want to save. And so they go in your direction. They stay there because, like me, although I didn't order as much as you would have liked, just didn't have what I needed.
I appreciate you.
But I am brand loyal on some of those things. But
you should be.
The thing is, it comes down to deals politics. So that's some ground I want you to cover is on the manufacturer side and on the distributor side. There are deal politics there too.
Oh yeah.
Talk to us. Show us how the sausage gets made on that one.
I think David and Howie would remove my desk from the office if I divulged too much. But it's very political. Even I'll give you an example.
You just got that desk too. We can't do that to you.
We'll take some categories and wipe it down before they throw me out. I think
you don't have to be too specific, but I'm give them a broad picture of how all these things happen.
It's very, very political. I'll give you an example. Just going back to Voco, we were talking about a few minutes ago. So Life, we talked to them. I talked to him. He's like, "Well, I can't because the larger companies I want regional." I'm like, "It's not true." He has Burkhardt actually, but it's like the bigger companies. They just call me and tell me if you open up Crazy Dental, DC Dental, then we're not going to push your products anymore.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they say. So he's stuck. Now things are changing, by the way. Like with Shine is actually following Amazon's footsteps now. With Bezos, what they do is they look to see the most popular products that are being sold, and they just manufacture them themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So Shine's doing that now.
And that's going to change the political landscape a lot.
And the manufacturers, so they're not happy about it at all.
It's going to push them your direction.
That's correct. Yes, unless we start making our own stuff also. When we have our own product, right? So, but yeah, we have alliances and stuff. But yeah, they will. That's better for us, absolutely. It's a race to the bottom line. There's less meat on the bone, and people are as the internet becomes more and more popular, which young dentists, they're all using it now. That's what they're used to.
Let's talk about what it is first, because when I say deals politics, you knew exactly what I meant.
They don't. Yeah, so the big guys don't like the little guys.
You've got even more whenever it comes down to the not just the distributors, but the manufacturers. There's deals politics there as well. I mean, so you've got your Henry Shines. Hey, if you order, let's say 2 cases, which is more than you'll need, and then it's going to go, and it's an expire, right, of this local anesthesia. We're going to give you this deal on these gloves for just $1 a box, or 4 boxes free with every. So there's politics that go into that as well, and you guys have to navigate in a much different way than the bigger players do. So talk to us a little bit about the behind the scenes there.
David, the owner of the company, and
you're the baseball guy, so I'm using behind the scenes instead of sausage this time.
Got to hit it out of the park. And that's really what we do. There are all these curveballs thrown, sliders thrown, split finger fastballs, and that's what they do. They've got to find a way to build their relationship with the manufacturer. And a lot of times they build relationships with people, the manufacturers, and then, like to our point earlier, they're gone because they go somewhere else, so they switch jobs, and you got to start over from scratch. But it's the same common denominator where you've got to build that respect from the manufacturer, and that they're willing to wheel and deal. I deal with a lot of DSOs on my other teams, and some of the pricing they get are insane. I'm not here to discourage solo practitioners. I think it's great. It's real. It's authentic. You're actually taking care of the patient. So you go to sleep at night thinking like, wow, actually I took care of my people today. Versus just it's commercialized. But there are advantages and disadvantages to everything in life. But so we have to find a way to have the manufacturers gravitate to us, and we build and work with them on deals, because some of these deals that these people are buying, products, the price they're paying, insane.
Well, there's insane
and
both
the deals
ways
that
too.
no, we have to everybody. By law, they're supposed to give us the same price.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't work that way, and often it does, but there are plenty of times that it doesn't. And we have to combat that. You can't stay in business. You always have to work backdoor deals and rebates and buy X amount of this and find ways to sell. You have to, and when they have these buy gets, and sometimes people say, well, this company has a buy get, and how come you don't have it? Well, because we had a different buy get that you just happen to not be looking at, because you're always negotiating deals.
Not just that, but there's also economies of scale that come into play when you have economies of scale. And so let's say Henry Shine's got what percentage of the market? 40%?
I think they're at 12 billion a year now, but I think 8 billion in the United States.
So they can
And that
say
includes
if we
equipment,
have
like implant, all these other
right.
some big ticket items.
But they can say, hey, I've got this deal right here. This is what I want my negotiated price to be. And the manufacturer will say, we can't sell it to you for that because you'd have to buy this many for it to have us make money. And so DC Dental says, well, we don't have that many customers, but Henry Schein says, well, look, I've got 40% of the dental market. I can guarantee that 5% of all dentists will get this. We'll push it to make sure that happens. So tell your manufacturer you want to pre-order this many, widgets. And then the manufacturer will go down on their price and they'll make these deals work. And I think they probably do the same thing for DSOs as well.
Absolutely. And as we see it, as we grow as a company, when I started over 14 years ago with the company's about 20 years old. When I started, we were at 24 million a year. Now we're getting to the 130 million range. And if we grow, we're going there, if there's some acquisitions, whatever, we could be, as we grow, our price point drops. The price we buy the product will drop. And as a culture, we spoke earlier, we'll relay that over to the customer. We're not here because in order for us to grow, we have to keep using that model. We have to make money. We're a business. Everybody has to make money. Everybody's in business. No one's here. No one's working for free anywhere. Otherwise, unless you move to New York City, where everything's supposedly being for free now.
Well, you brought something up earlier, which was the need for you guys to embrace efficiency, and I think one of the drivers behind that was these economies of scales deals that you guys couldn't pull off. And so, if your targeted customer is someone who's trying to save money over the big box stores, right? You have to find a way to look at your overhead and say, what can we cut out where? Because the numbers all juggle in the end. They all end up with the king KPI, and that king KPI is net profit, right? So you guys, I think, are going to be really well positioned. And it's one of the reasons I wanted to interview you, because in coming into this, this changing market, you guys, I think, are going to be very well positioned for growth because you've already got the efficiencies in place. As you've been growing, your numbers are coming down for your cost from the from the manufacturers, and so really, you're going to be able to beat them on all fronts whenever it comes to overhead.
That's the goal. And I talk. I travel a bunch and I speak to. I'm not one of these guys where, like, if I see a competitor, I turn my head the other way, a blind eye. I'm friends with them. I talk to them.
You're fishing for information. You want to know what their secret plays are.
That's it, baby. You know that. I met with a competitor of ours last week. We sat down. I gave them some ideas for some things, and they're like, "Wow, that's a great idea." Like, we're not here to, so there's secret sauce, and then there's secret sauce.
Right?
You're a kitchen man. You're a you know what it's like to be. You built a kitchen here for guests and for you know what it's like. You're proficient in that. So. And everything else, but it's crucial. You got to stay ahead of the curve, and every box we try to be A+ at, and it's hopefully it's a trajectory for success.
Well, this is a business podcast, so let's talk a little bit about how you guys approached that assessment. Where you looked at it and you said, okay, look, where in our overhead can we cut and how? Did you do like an ROI on it? Because I know obviously you guys chose automation, and so there was a huge upfront cost to get there. Would you just kind of walk us through some of the business decisions that led in that direction, and what applicability you think or that you might see in the dental offices themselves that they can put these types of things to use?
Someone had a great analogy they shared with me once. Actually, Matt Ornstein, I heard him say this, and he's a big business guy. He owns a large DSO, close to 100 practices, and he's got a lot of other businesses. And he said, do you sell your company to grow, or do you grow to sell? And we use the second, right? We grow to sell. Not that we're looking to sell tomorrow. Our goal is to be $1 billion company. But every single move that we make is looked at in depth. David is a very focused.
Talk to us about who David is.
David Charnowitz. That's hence DC Dental.
No, I know. I know. I've met him.
Very. That's right. He was there. He was at his house. He was there. Very, very focused.
Smart guy.
Yes.
As much praise as you heap on me, I would say the same
He's
about
very,
him.
very smart. Yes, and he's like, you don't talk like every hour he has a different schedule. So you talk to him about that hour. That's what's on his mind that hour, and then he just and then it changes lanes. It's like all tracks, and it's extremely he looks at everything, every little business venture, every department, every box that this company touches. He looks at it in depth, and he digs in, and he follows up, and he makes
He's
sure
got
that
a
it's
really
done.
beautiful mind for spotting patterns. Whenever I spoke with him, that really struck me. And I didn't talk to him for long. I guess what
Yeah, it was there for an hour,
30.
2 hours maybe.
Well, maybe it might have
we
been.
were sitting and schmoozing for a bit.
There was beer involved.
Yeah.
So it
Yes.
might have been longer than I thought, but he
He's very
he sees
driven.
patterns everywhere.
Yes, and I remember the days as we were going our warehousing, and he was not when things were not proficient. I mean, it had to be 100%. You met Sandy, the warehouse, and he was, this is unacceptable, and this cannot happen again. And if it happened again, heads would roll. Like there's no games, and that's just the warehouse. And then when it comes to buying and selling product from manufacturers, to your point you just discussed, he's on his game, man, and he's wheeling and dealing and negotiating. And when we started, when we moved from being a great company to authorized, so the three big guys, they were like, they weren't so good. And thank God we're here. Most companies, when they make that pivot, they don't make it because you're losing almost your whole customer base. When you're selling gray, whether it was on the crazy dental side or and then you pull that out, your margins erode. You're done. Because the margins in gray are insanely high. And so he made that move, and so we went to some of the guys and we said, listen, we're going to push Curry or GC America if you don't open us up. We're just throwing out names, whatever, and then slowly but surely 3M jumped on, then Curry jumped on, and then Dentsply was going through the whole thing with Serona, and it took an extra year, whatever. But everybody's on board because they see with this company where it's going, and people I see the reps all the time. You guys are great. We love you guys. So it's integral that there's no rock go unturned, right? Every single piece of the business is looked at. Howie's also, these are brilliant guys. He's a CFO. He could be a COO. He could be a CTO. I mean, these people they're very, and it's numbers, it's budgets, it's data.
Howie was so fun to talk to. We must have talked for most of the time I was there.
Yeah. He's so down to earth and normal. And his mind is just, he's brilliant. He's just whatever, we grew up together. He's beyond,
You guys been friends for a long time.
Yeah. He's actually, the only thing I have on him is that I'm a year older than him. He was in my brother's class.
So talk to me a little bit about the history of building DC Dental and Crazy Dental, like from utter inception and selling gray market stuff to growth out of that. And talk to me about how you somehow managed to preserve the culture through that transition, because there were a lot of moving parts there, a lot of things that happened. So keep that one in the back of your mind, though, because I know you're going to run on that one. Talk to us about the beginnings of the business and growth into what you guys are now.
So DC Dental started the same way Amazon and Apple and Dell.
Bezos was there?
That's it, babe. He was their first employee.
They can't have started
everything about Amazon.
You guys can't have gotten to the same place yet, because you started off without hair and now you don't have more hair. So he started without hair. He grew hair somehow over the journey.
He probably sold. He made it himself.
That's right.
We started at a garage, and David had some buddies that were in the wholesale business,
mm-hmm.
And they were doing a lot of gray. And they said to him, "Why don't you start selling retail for us? And we'll go in together, whatever."
And how old was everyone here?
Early 20s.
Early 20s.
20, 21. And then they started selling out of the garage. They actually went to Los Angeles for a while. I think the company's still around. It's called Kings 2. I think it became a Korean company now. And they sold, and there's some stuff going on over there. So they left LA. They came back to Baltimore where it originally started. And faxes, if you remember what a fax was.
Oh, I do.
So they started just bought lists or from the dental lists, whatever, just started faxing stuff out. And it started with like 10, 15 products. That was it. Maybe it actually started with, I think, less, like 5 products, and then 10, 15, and it started gradually growing. Catalog of a couple hundred products. And even when I was there, I was still faxing things out and specials and sending out thick catalog. We haven't made a catalog since like right before COVID. Like, what's a catalog anymore, you know? And anybody that asks me now for a catalog, I'm like, they're still, you know, they're living back in the Ice Age. But like, as a joke, I said we haven't put a catalog. It's all online. We can print
send them
it.
a PDF one.
Yeah, I'm like, I could do that. I could sell it in Excel, but it's almost 50,000 products. You be able to find it all? Like, forget it. Whatever. But pictures are easier. We do that, you know. But it's very rare now. You know, until 5 years ago, film was still a top-selling product. But so that was the early beginnings. And it was just the faxing and pushing, and it was gray. And you go online, you can find there were lawsuits with Kerr and whatever it is. But you know, because they sue you, whatever it is. But and now they're like our best friends. But it's like, you know, July 4th with you know England, they'll celebrate July 4th. Over time, people get over it. It's different people. The bottom line is business. And it's you know, that was the early beginnings. It was just hustle with muscle. That's really, you know, small little warehouse, a bunch of guys just picking stuff, and it was very, very. It's always been a chilled atmosphere, and that's what's stuck, and just family oriented, and everybody's like, we're all buds and we're together. And as it grows, you know, it fractures a little bit, but it's still a cohesive group. You know, we're talking.
So what do you feel
and then
that you owe the thanks to whenever it comes to maintaining that culture?
David, it comes from the top. David and Howie. I mean, David would tell you right up front, like he's not, you know, lovey-dovey, kissy-kissy.
I was going to say, he comes off as pretty brusque at first until you start talking to him and he warms up to you.
Yeah. Like we were talking about, you know, this mastermind earlier, and they're like, "Yeah, we got to go," but the owner has to go. I'm like, David's not going to this. Like, you don't even see him. He'll go to the New York show because he's meeting with manufacturers and they're wheeling and dealing. He doesn't have time to just like kissy lovey. He's very, very driven, wonderful person, charitable. I go to these events, they're like, well, this guy gave this. David gives more charity than probably almost any dental distributor in the country. We have people that come to our office every single day that meet with him, and he's just extremely charitable. And he told me once, straight up, he's like, God gives it to me to give away. If I don't give it away, he'll give it to someone else to give away. Straight up. So he told me.
I think that brings us to a great point to talk about how, you know, you came on.
I'm talking about in the millions, by the way. I'm not talking about, you know, tens of thousands or thousands. Right. Okay. Yeah.
So you're in nonprofit. You get this buddy of yours who tells you about this thing. So obviously the whole culture fit was there to begin with, which is probably why you were told about the job. So who is that friend? Because I know.
So the friend that set me up, his name was Newberger.
I thought it was Howie.
Howie was there. It was actually another guy, Aaron Freeman. He was the one that was before we started. But yeah, Howie is Howie is on one of the finance side. So I was more on the sales. And now I work for Howie. That's, you know, he's my
gotcha.
Now I work for Howie.
Which is why I thought it was him, because you said you'd been friends since before you came on. And
yes. The truth is, he may have had a say in it at the time. Now that I'm thinking about it, I don't even know. You're probably
he would never tell you.
Right. You're probably right. There were times that he stuck up for me many, many times. When I'm not getting personal, but even like when COVID, when they started furloughing people, he stuck up for me. He's like, no, came on, like, you know, he's been there. You know, he understands. Like, he says to me all the time, like, my job is to push back on you because he's in the finance side, and your job as a sales guy is to tell me you're out of your mind and I'm doing it anyway, and I'll ask for forgiveness later. He gets both sides. And David will be like, what the heck is Jay doing? Why is he doing that? And Howie will be like, no, like, he'll push back on that. You know, like, it's a corporate culture, but we're family.
Right.
So we're able to, like, you know.
It was very interesting.
Yeah.
So
you're probably right. Howie probably did say go hire him or something. You're probably right. Because ultimately he's the one that, you know, pays me, and then David says, strip me your money. You're probably right. I never thought about that. You're probably right.
I didn't mean to put that in your head. I was just...
No, it's good.
You know.
It's good.
So, all right. So you start at what point with the company? Where are we in this process when you get hired?
So I got hired, and they asked me to come work for DC Dental, DC side. And it's interesting. They trained us with Crazy Dental, just entering orders. Crazy Dental, just to give a background. Crazy Dental was a company, I think Dr. Eagle or Dr. something like that, out of Minnesota, Minneapolis. That's where our home office, our Crazy Dental is out of Minneapolis, still there. Kept everybody very family. We don't get rid of people. So Crazy Dental. He was a doctor before Hotwire was Hotwire. He came with this idea. As a dentist, fax me what you want to order. I'll go out to the different distributors and I'll find the best price, and then they'll ship it. So we, as DC Dental, we jumped on board and we became a distributor for this Crazy Dental. It's called Profit Finder Crazy Dental, whatever. And over time, gradually, took years, we earned over 50% of the business because we were less expensive than everybody else, or almost, I guess, 50.
Well, you were SKU limited at first, but
correct,
you're growing
right,
into
great
this.
Point. Yes, thank you. And as we grew, we became, market share. You're right, great point. Thank you. And not that you need my accolades to say great point. I'm just so we grew, and then David said, like, what are we doing? Why don't we just buy the business? It was like everybody's getting boxes from 9 different, all these. Forget it. We'll just buy the whole thing, and then we'll make that decision. And the guy, he was already in his 70s, and he agreed to sell. So we bought the business, and then we were still great at the time, and we decided to pivot to authorized. So some of the larger manufacturers, like, we don't trust you guys. Like, how do we know that it's gray free?
Mm-hmm.
How do we know it's all authorized? We don't know that. You're just, whatever. You're selling the stuff. We don't know where it's coming from.
It probably came from I know what we used to do, and we're not going to send that to our customers.
Bingo.
That is an interesting journey, though.
Yeah. So David said, fine. We're cutting all relations with all the distributors. We'll do it all ourselves. And that way you'll trust us. You don't know that it's coming from us.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what happened. And at the same time, DC removed itself from all gray and went all authorized. It's a big move. It's a gutsy move.
It was a huge overhead move.
Huge. People don't even realize. I mean, he's petrified he'd lose his company. And the days for a while, David, he's public about it. He lived off his credit card.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't like, at the points and whatever he had to do, just put the money back in the company. And that's what he did. And for both. So Crazy Dental became we just look at all of our competitors' products, we match the lowest price. It's kept the same philosophy, the same culture. It's the lowest price, but it was all emanating from us, from DC side. And then that's how we have free goods. How else you get free goods if you're not authorized, not legit? Because it's every invoice will say powered by DC Dental on it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the DC side had reps and a little more flexibility on pricing, because Crazy it is what it is. Yeah. So then I instituted the whole coupon thing, and we talked about TBD 10 and TBD ship. And
I remember
they don't
that
really
was
like that.
So that was
it
a
cuts
big
into
deal
profits,
in the company,
yeah.
And that met with a lot of resistance. That's one of the things Howie went to bat with you, bat on for you.
Yes, that's correct.
See, I know some things.
Yes, you do. Sometimes too much.
So talk to
Profit.
Hey,
Yeah.
I was plying him with beer. So
Should do it again.
talk to me about that. What's the program? Why did you choose that? How did it fit the strategy?
Oh, Crazy! You mean the Crazy side?
Yeah.
So
So
switch. Whatever. So I migrated from
so
being
you,
a DC
you
Dental
start
rep.
no. When
okay.
you came up with the coupon thing,
Oh,
right? And that met with a lot of resistance.
Yes.
So why did you make that choice? How did it serve the purpose that the company was driving toward that didn't necessarily get seen by some people?
I believe not. This is not derogatory. This is, to me, it's actually a positive thinking. Our customer base appreciates coupons.
Mm-hmm.
You go to Howie and David, they're like, this is crazy. It's cutting the profits. It's killing us. No one does coupons like this. No company in the world gives just coupons 10% off everything. It doesn't exist. So there was a pushback in the beginning, and then there's still pushback. So it's a little more it's a little more mellow than it used to be, But I'm still pushing back a little bit. So we're coming up with different ideas. But I believe that the clientele, and the customer that's looking for the best deal, it emanates with them. Like, it's like, oh, I'm getting a better deal. It makes no sense. It really doesn't make any sense. If you think just, just from a pure theological perspective, it makes like, you think about it. So I'm getting a good deal, then I'm getting a better deal. Just give me the better deal. Like, why are you giving me a coupon? Or I'm getting a better deal. What coupon? No one does that. But in their minds, for whatever reason, it sucks them in, it pulls them in, and it worked. The millions and millions of dollars a year really worked. But the company got to a point once we started matching Net 32, you got to stay in business. You can't give 10% off after
Right.
you're ready to lower. It's impossible. Net 32 is not really considered. They're not a distributor.
Well, they're a gray market.
Yeah, and they're not a distributor. So and whatever, like to your point, whatever someone puts on their website, that's what they're selling. So you can't compete with that. How do you compete with that? It doesn't, like, today they're selling it, and it changes, by the way. Their algorithm changes daily. So in the morning it's this price, in the afternoon it's that price, and in the evening it's a different price. It changes. I think 3 times a day you can change the price in Net 32. So how are you supposed to do that? So they got the point, like,
They're
can't
pushing
keep doing
consumer behavior. That makes a lot of sense, because what they've probably done is they've looked around the country to see what time of day most orders are taking place. So they may be pushing them to an earlier time slot where either like there's a power cost to the infrastructure that they have, and so they're using in a different peak hour or out of peak hours. So they're using less processing power, so they're making more money in the end. That's interesting.
They just sold, so they're also changing their culture. But it's incredible how the system they have there. But so how are you supposed to match that and give 10%? It's impossible. So I had to give in to my I had to humble myself to say, okay, fine, we'll do it for all new customers, and then we'll do the shipping. And it's right. We have to stay in business.
In my eyes, it was more of a customer acquisition tool than anything else, because it's kind of like for us dental savings plans, right? So you've got this one price, and this one price is going to it's going to cover your initial exam, it's going to cover your cleaning, your X-rays, yada yada yada. But in reality, you're also going to get a 10% off on this, 15% off of this, and you're going to get this many cleanings a year, and it comes out, you're not paying nearly as much. But what we're trying to get you in there for is when we find fillings and when we find crowns, and so it's a loss leader. Yeah. So in effect, the coupons were just kind of a callback to a much older system of loss leader sales.
Right. The challenge is people leave. That's the challenge. It kept them. It kept them attached.
Well, because those are the problem. The problem is, Jay, with your idea, is that when you use coupons, you are marketing for coupon shoppers. Right. But I think with the brilliance of your idea is the way you guys treat people at Crazy Dental, just the culture. Whenever you're talking to someone, it's so different that you are giving yourself a chance to get that customer in who would never have. Gone crazy because they can shop the insane sales elsewhere, and they just keep someone on the clock full time shopping for deals. Yeah. You're not going to keep that client unless that person, guy or gal, the assistant who's shopping for deals, is getting on the phone with you and getting that experience and saying, hey, this is a lot less stressful for me, and the doc's never going to really know. We'll just keep doing this. Of course, then she keeps her job. She used to be getting paid for it. That's a sneaky little thing going on there. That's a whole separate discussion. I wonder how many dentists employ an assistant to call around for these deals, and they're just calling Crazy Dental because they know they're going to end up saving 2% overall at the end of the year. That's
correct. A lot of people do that, and then some of them get deals. What I've learned, I learned a lot of things. One of the things I've learned here is also, to your point, they stick with us and it looks good for them and they're all set. Also, to your point that it's the coupon is to bring people in, but you're right. You gain them on price and you lose them on price. So it's our customer service, by the way, is a huge component, huge, and it's great we kept the ones from Minnesota because the Minnesota nice. They're just the nicest people, and they couldn't hurt a fly, literally. They're just such nice, good quality people. And people pick up and they call them and they're like, there's no complaints. People are so happy with them. But to jump on your most recent point of the office staff ordering, I find a lot of times I don't know who's listening to this, and thank you for listening. But I guess I could just say it. Whatever, be candid.
Yeah.
A lot of time, more often than not, the person who's placing the order is not responsible for the P&L of the dental office.
No, they're not.
And
so they care a lot less.
Yeah, they don't care. As long as they get a coupon, a gift card to Starbucks, or they just know this and they just buy it, leave me alone. And there's value to that also. But to me, it's just like, if you have
And
a crazy dental
the
company,
dentists have to know this game is happening. They've got to know that their employees are basically doing their jobs, but only in such a capacity that it benefits them the greatest. Because they'll order from someone more expensive if they're going to get a gift card in their name that doesn't go through the practice.
Correct.
The dentists have got to know this is happening.
And a lot of them
they're smart people.
They are. They're very smart. They're doctors for a reason. But, and I mean this again, positive thinking, green light thinking. I'm not here to. You run a large platform, TBOD, the Business of Dentistry, right? So you have a business mind. You have a scientific mind. You have a business mind. You use all of your brain. Not be like me, I don't. But you happen to be gifted like that. You're a bright guy. You like it's reality. Everybody knows that, but not a secret. And if it was a secret, now it's out. Many dentists don't have business minds. The ones that do typically just either sell, or they go to DSOs, or they get whatever, right? So they're not the type to focus. They're the artist. That's the side of the brain that they use, right? They're not the type that's gonna sit there going over to Allie and say, Allie, did you find the best deal? Yeah, I did. Oh, okay, fine. They don't dig in and look at it. Maybe once in a while when they get to their accountants. So when I was on the rep side, the DC side, those are like the biggest nightmares I had. It was like once a year when they would sit down with their accountants, they call me back, oh, this, why are you paying this? I found this, and then they just forgot about it for the next 11 and a half months, and they come back and bark at you for 2 weeks, and then they let it go, whatever. It's like a formula almost. It's reciprocal. But it's just history repeats itself. So, you pacify them for a little bit. They just like they bark at you for a little bit, but they don't dig in for these things. They're not focused on that, and it's some people are paying 8-9%. That's on their budget. Supplies shouldn't be more than 5, even 4. On the crazy side, it's going to be 4 or 5. People are paying a lot more than that. We do comparisons. 95% of comparisons were less expensive, and we don't lower the price and then say, oh, and then jack them back up. We don't do that. It's just that's our price. So to me, it makes no sense. Some people don't know about us, or the people that order don't really care. They just like whatever. I have my thing. I like it. I go. I'm done. And if I was a doctor, it can be because I have a little more of a business mind. You have a big business mind, but if I could save, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 100,000, whatever, depending on the size of obviously the practice or practices you have, whatever. That's more employees. It's more efficiency. And that's how we've been growing our company. That's how Crazy's been growing. And it's a fever pitch. It grows, but it's like it's a virus in a good way. As you know what they say? What do they say? Referrals are the best friend, or whatever it is. The best way to say thank you is to send a referral, and that's often when people go, order online. Now they say, "How'd you hear about us?" And a lot of times they'll say "friend" or whatever it is, or like we work with influencers such as yourself, and it works. The system works because it's a real product. It's not just something. It's a gimmick online, some random website, and then they're gone. You're here today, gone tomorrow. A lot of times coupons, by the way, to the point. That's what it is. You get to the door, and it's not real. This is a real company. This is not like some fly by night and whatever. It's legit. And we're 5 in the country now. But I think it's an important piece. I think the doctors need to understand from the business perspective. Like just once in a while, just make sure that the people in your office. It's not just supplies. It's across the board, right? Make sure that it's going to go to Office Depot or Staples or whatever it is. Just it's worth taking a day or two. Close your office for a day and just go through the numbers. Just look, and there was an old TV show on CBS. I love going back to it because I don't really watch TV or movies, but it's like I remember seeing it. It's called Undercover Boss. Right, I'm not talking about the emotional side where they find out stories about people and they write a check and pay for college, which is nice. It's nice. Mm-hmm. It's a tearjerker. It's nice, but a lot of times. The boss, these are large companies, usually corporate companies. They don't really know what's going on in the day-to-day operations of their enterprise, and you just scale it down, just squeeze it. And the same thing with the dental office. Listen, I'm sure you can tell me I'm wrong or you can tell me I'm right, but a lot of times they walk in the morning, hi, how are you? If they're in a good mood, whatever, and they sit down, they start doing their thing. They're the dentist. They take care of everything. 2 minutes in the hygiene stuff, and they drill and they crown whatever they're doing it right, and then they go home. But they don't really hone in on what's really going on. And if they just take a day or two off, even once, and just where can I find a better deal on this and that? And yes, maybe it's not their personality because they're artists. They're not thinking business, but it's worth it. And you could save. You can hire another employee with them saving. It's just with what we sell. The average dental office is smaller ones are spending.
Or fire an employee.
Yeah.
Because if you've got someone who's working full time, who's doing just this deal shopping, by cutting out one employee out, taking what you're going to save from Crazy Dental, taking that off your plate, you don't need that employee anymore.
Yeah. Or that employee is, the 10 hours a week that she claims or he claims that they're spending on ordering, you could do it in an hour, have them back in the chair for 9 hours. That's making you money for your honey.
Mm-hmm.
It's to me, it's a no-brainer, and thank God I found this. They're not. It was a great opportunity, but and they're great people. Not everybody has that. Thank God, over and over again. But it's a big blessing. But it's a no-brainer. I don't understand it. We were talking about earlier, like implants. There's so some people just say, "Oh, I like this one." I mean, I can't. I'm not a dentist. I can't say whether trying another one does it work, does it not work. And a lot of general dentists are doing implants now. Are you? You go to see and you hear about it. Okay, you buy it. But are you really digging in? Is it really? Can you find an implant that's the same implant for a lot less? Yes, you can.
For me, it came down to platform. There were certain platforms I liked the effects of, and the surfaces are surfaces. I mean, they're going to grow bone. There might be some that are supposedly better for short-term loading, this, that, and the other. I haven't honestly kept up on the research. Some of them may be. It's a certainty that at some point someone will figure that out.
Right.
But
even technology, the PMS systems we were talking about earlier, like some of them are so expensive. Equipment, like people are like, oh, ADEC, I want ADEC. I'm not here to knock ADEC, right? But DCI are the same people that used to run ADEC. People don't even know that. So you buy DCI, that's the formula. The new ADEC, it's not the same ADEC that it once was that lasted forever. It's just not. People don't know that. Now with
there
AI,
you go. You guys should partner with a PMS, and then you've got another avenue to your business.
It's just so much opportunity just to think about saving it, and it's worth just doing the research.
Where is your vision? Where is DC Dental? Where is Crazy Dental heading over the next 5 years? And while you talk about that, I'm going to type a question so I don't forget it, because there's another one I want to ask you about. So talk to me about that.
Right, growth in warehousing. We plan on opening up 2. We like to call it Amazonian warehouses. One on the West Coast, and one actually here. We're looking actually in Dallas now. So we will be 2 days to everywhere in the United States on what it costs us. Not that we have to pay extra to have products shipped in 2 days. And then we'll expand. We're adding products every single day. So we'll be a much stronger force in the dental industry. So if someone's from California orders or wherever on the West Coast, they're like, well, they're an East Coast company. We're no longer regional. Some people look at us like a regional guy. We're not. We're no longer regional. We're a national force. That's number one. Technology.
We're the 5th largest now.
Yeah. But there's still.
You guys were nowhere near the 5th largest whenever we met.
No, close. So it's chisel. Just keep pounding the pavement. Technology is going to be huge for us. Huge. Both on the DC side and the Crazy side. I think that the DC side, reps tend to, when reps leave us now, we tend not to really replace them because the same person who did, maybe let's say, I'm just throwing out a number, let's say made $100,000, $200,000 a year with a $3, $4, $5 million book of business. I'm just throwing out numbers and making them up, right? You can make $500,000 and have a $10 or $15 million book of business. So yes, the margins are shrinking, but the ability to do more business, right, grows.
Well, that's that stage of growth you guys are in.
Yeah, that's correct. So it's like David says all the time. If a rep wants to come work for us, I'm happy to entertain it, but they have to bring a $10 million book of business because they're going to lose half right off the top, and it's going to take another 3 to 4 years just to gain back with it. It's just, there were some other guys try to do that in the past couple of years, and it didn't work. I think that the margin of error shrinks, so we want to make sure that there's no mistakes. whether it's in the warehouse, which is a crucial, the most important component to for the end user, for the doctor's office, and then like we spoke earlier on the negotiating with the manufacturers and making sure that we're getting the best price for every single product that we sell, the best deal, the best buy get, to have the marketing. You know, our open rate for email is over 50%. Not because we're just sending stuff out, it's because we're not sending stuff out. It's because we're only sending out relevant.
Well, I think that's the trick in today's world. We have this cacophony going on around us all the time. So if you're getting, man, I put so many people on block and I put so many people in junk. I'm not going to ever see their message coming through.
Yep.
But I get something from, you know, Jay at Crazy Dental. I never get anything from Jay at Crazy Dental. So what's this?
Exactly.
You know,
so
it might be working to your strengths there.
Yes,
you know?
yes. Kara, who runs our marketing division, is CMO. She was and her team, very, very focused on that. I never met all of her teammates because a lot of them work. Some of them are their husbands are in the army, they're military, mentor, whatever. But they're very, very focused on only relevance. That's it. It's if there's a deal,
it's not a waste of my time.
Right, like the New York show. Once this podcast goes out, the New York show will be long over. But by using that exact right, only things that have to do with what the doctors want to see, and that's it. So I have people reaching out to me all day. Well, maybe we sell this product. It would be great if you guys no, not in a bad way. It doesn't fit into what we're looking to do, and not great. And some of these guys are friends of mine. I want to help them out, but then no one's going to open up the emails, right? And no one's going to look at the banners on our website, and it's just it doesn't jive with what with the direction that we're moving in. So it's got to be. It's talking about it like just focus in on what we're doing. If it's a moving train. Don't think for a second everyone thinks they look at businesses and like, oh, they're the knight in shining armor. Everything is so big. Behind closed doors, there's always things going on, and it's never a dull moment. And it's a moving. Howie actually told me that phrase. It's a moving train, and there's always things going on. Doors are opening, closing. And the train's constantly moving on the track. You got to stay with the times. And today's world, it's constricted in some ways, and we try to, if we can't. I like to use this saying, the word works or not phrase. If you can't go through the wall, we go around the wall, and that's what we got to do. And the successful businesses find ways to just get it done, and that's what we do. But in a nice, meaningful, authentic way, not just this is where we are. Take it or leave it. We'll work with you. We'll talk to you.
I'll tell you something I'd like to see you guys develop that I could see as a very usable product, as well as a great selling point, is a plugin for popular PMSs, right? And what happens is that plugin integrates directly into the PMS, and it does polling of codes. So as, a D, whatever is completed, it says, okay, well, let's say you're placing an implant, 6013, whatever. And it sees that code and it says, okay, with this code, we have packaged one implant. We've packaged one preventative barriers, one surgical drape, 2 bags of saline, yada, yada, yada. And we also use the drills in the drill kit from drill number 1 to drill number 5, one time. Okay. Well, these have a, 5-use limit or whatever. So it automatically demarks it, and it keeps an internal inventory tracking that, hey, if this guy's got only one set of drills, it's going to definitely be accurate. But if he's got 3 sets of drills, might order a little bit early or what have you, right? But if you could build that into your ordering system where it could then predict what they're going to need, when they're going to need it, based upon the actual dentistry that's getting done, and then pre-populate a cart that all someone has to do is say, look at this list, and it says, okay, these are the codes you completed, so you use this much stuff, so this is what you need based on that. And historical usage says that you guys also will probably want another bottle of such and such at this time. And if it's nested in such a way, I think that would be huge for dental offices. I think it'd be huge for you guys as well. You're smiling, so you either have it under development right now, or you just thought it was a good idea.
Both.
Okay, I've mentioned this to you before, didn't I?
Yes.
Okay.
It's the world. This is part of what we just mentioned. We got to stay ahead of technology. It's happening.
I gotta watch out drinking beer at barbecues, man. I give away all my good stuff.
Should do it more often. It'll grow faster.
I didn't realize you guys had moved forward on that.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
It's being developed. AI is it's just a beast. We're also working now on. We have a group we work with that. If you send us a comparison, so we manually, the girls in Minnesota, they go through it and you literally put it through
vision recognition now.
Split second. The only challenge we have with it is the house brand, because house brand don't line up with competitors. So you have to teach AI. You have to teach it. Like if you go to AI and ChatGPT, who's Jay Glazer, it'll say it works for Crazy Now DC Dental. It played for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and it works for Fox Sports because there's another Jay Glazer and it like mixes. It doesn't know everything yet, but yes, we're getting this. So to your point. It's in development. Where I was actually talking to a DSO I was with over the weekend in Atlanta. They're out of Chicago, and it's getting to the point now where the systems will know. We try not to put something out on the market until it's really ready because don't rush it. It's just not worth it. Even if you're the second or third guy to launch. So what happens is, I'll give an example. So you have Tina that works for you, right? And she's your hygienist. So Tina loves to use whatever type of prophy paste, and she loves to use whatever type of instruments, and that's just her thing. And then you have Emily who likes something else, and then you have Brad who like whatever. The system knows what each one likes to use. So your point of the implants, right? You're the doctor, right? And it knows the schedule of who's coming in when. It's just going to automatically order it. You don't have to touch anything. It sounds very simplified. It's complicated. And right, and then because you're still going to have, like we talked earlier at the beginning, there's still relationships. So if Jimbo comes in and says 4 teeth just fell out and he needs whatever, so emergency things, obviously, right. that's an exception.
Well, that's because it's a stepwise overhead. It's not a fixed overhead, and it's not it's stepwise. I think people don't realize it's not directly variable because you actually have to have product in the office to be able, so there's a fixed cost as well as a variable portion of the cost. Mm-hmm. But that's interesting. Were you guys developing this? Because back whenever I brought it up, the technology existed, but it wasn't there yet.
It's still not. It's close.
So you guys, when did you start working on this?
A couple of years. It's a tremendous amount of work, and then we're very. We don't just hire people. Mm-hmm. So we're my stomach may not be thin, but our company is like you, thin, and so it's the same few people that are working on that. So we have we've grown in the technology space, like where other people sit in the office now. Used to be sales guys. A lot of people, like I always walk by as a joke. I'm like, which bank are you breaking into today? The script that they have there, you would drool all over this stuff. For me, it's just like what, but this is what they do, and they do a lot of things with technology today. You can, and these are high-paying jobs. That these are guys that help really. There's a trajectory in the company, and these guys there's a captain. There's whatever the guys. Let's use that today. There's the air traffic controller, and then there's actually the people that are flying the planes. So air traffic controller, let's say, are like the C-level guys. Making sure everything is and tell everybody where to go, and then the pilots. These guys they're highly qualified, and this is what they do, and they're building this stuff. It's pretty cool. It's fascinating, and like I have a friend of mine. I just actually hung out with her. Someone I was in Atlanta for the tower thing this weekend. We came to visit. We hung out Saturday night in the hotel. So he's a Georgia Tech guy. He's a real tech. He's also a patent attorney. He's a micro whatever. I don't know. Who knows what? He's got all these sort of titles. He's got more initials after his name than I'll ever. I can whatever. So more than the ABC. But he works for Emory University now, whatever. But I remember when he was at Georgia Tech, he told me that there used to be a 5-year plan, and they can't do it anymore because
it's 18 months now, right?
Yeah, you can't. So there's you don't know where Virginia Tech is holding and Texas Tech is holding, and there's just so many moving parts, and the development just goes so quickly, it could take a while, and once something just quickly clicks, boom. So it's hard to really know, when it's going to be launched. But these things are, and it's funny. It's in a way it's sad because I have people that call all the time with ideas, and there's some people that work on these things, and they're trying to develop it. But then you have larger companies that are just, it's like they're throwing money and they're building. So it's hard to know. But we have a guy now out of Denver. He's developing a product, where you can. It's pretty cool, and he's going to use us, which is very nice of him. So you'll take your cursor on your computer, your mouse, okay, or whatever, in your laptop, whatever, and he's going to have a list of all these products from competitors, and then you just touch on the product. You don't have to click on it. You just touch on it, and then it's going to open like a marketplace of all the competitors and whatever. And they'll have, and then you'll be able to move on the cursor, and it'll open up supplementary products. This is the price for these products, but you know what? There are other products that you could buy that are a lot less expensive, and it does the same thing.
There's a layer of complexity that you get into there where the GUI suffers, and so they're going to have some implementation issues there. The further out you go with a standard tree type of design, you get out to about 3 submenus, and it falls apart. They may want to consider using a radial menu system.
Put you guys in touch with them if you want. I'm happy to talk.
No, just give them the idea. Tell them look into using radial menus.
Okay.
Actually picked it up from a video game. It was just a really easy interface, and I was like, oh, that's cool. So I did a deep dive on what radial menus are. But so first of all, I'm totally taking credit for that idea. I'm telling everyone it was mine.
You could call it.
Unless, of course.
You can call it the Chris.
The Chris. I don't know how many people know my name.
Everybody calls Doc Halfhour.
Yeah, most people just call me Doc.
We'll have to edit that part.
But, yeah, anyway.
We're friends.
Neither here nor there.
I apologize. I hope it doesn't, burst your bubble. It makes you...
No, that's okay. I'm glad you guys are doing it.
Yeah, it's pretty... It's really cool stuff.
So, what do you see? Because we've gotten a little bit into that. What do you see the future holding for the dental supply marketplace, I guess I should say, because I know kind of where you're going to go with that. How does it change in the next 15 years, 10 years?
Based off what we just talked about, that things change every 18 months, I can't answer what's going to happen in 10 years or in 5 years. I really don't know.
Give us a wild-ass guess.
My guess is that there'll be a lot of consolidation. That's my guess. Because of the marketplaces, I think that's the future. That's where things are going. And then there's just going to be a race to the bottom line as to who's on the pricing. And if you're able to make sure your products get out quickly and get to the final destination, some people are going to be comfortable using the larger companies and the corporations because they're just larger and they feel more comfortable with that. Others who will want to save money will go to the smaller ones. And then my guess is that most distributors will have their own marketplaces. And then there'll be somehow they'll all work together. Well, because everyone's going to have to list and label. I'll give you an example today. Method is owned by Darby, but they have competitors listed on their sites. So I think that's where it's going to go. And then it's just a matter of, talking about what we spoke about earlier, owning the customer. Who's more comfortable where they're going, and who can relate to the customer. They actually care about them the most. That's what I think. Even though we're moving away from relationships in general, I think it's becoming less and less of a real expectation in business. I think humans still have that component that's never going to go away. And if you can relay that to your customer, you're actually there for them and you're going to take care of them, and you have the price and you can get stuff there, there'll be acquisitions like everybody else. Like Shine just swallows everybody alive, and so that's how people will grow, and there'll be less.
There's always pushback against that direction, though, I think, in the marketplace.
I just maybe I just right now that's where I see it. Could be right. That's what I was saying. 10 years from now is like eons.
So 10 years from now, Henry Schein owns Crazy Dental.
Could be. I don't know. Or let's see if Shine's still around.
So It's interesting that this stuff has actually gotten to the point where it's like every 18 months or so, because that follows Moore's law. And so Moore originally predicted a doubling of the number of transistors on a chip every 24 months. And because of miniaturization and some new technologies, that's actually been reduced down to about 18 months. But Moore's law is also used for application of information access whenever you look at the internet. And so there's a doubling of the information that we have access to, doubling of the body of knowledge and science every 18 to 24 months. So it's interesting to see how that's permeated even like the dental product field, but it makes sense because things are being so consolidated in a technology or direction.
Yeah,
you know,
it's we're zooming ahead and we're focused and we're driven, and who knows, it's hard. I heard Jeff Bezos say once, like, someone's just going to come out with some better platform than he has with Amazon, and Amazon will be an afterthought. Just like, the BlackBerries, like those were the things, and now beepers and Palm Pilots, and it's going to keep evolving. It's going to keep moving forward. And will Shine own Crazy? Who knows? Will Crazy own Shine? Who knows? It's who knows?
But there's going to be one player, is what your prediction is.
I think it's going to squeeze. I think it's going to consolidate. That's what I think. With marketplaces, I don't know how you can. Then again, things change quickly, but I don't know. There's so many. Like, what's gonna pull, Joe Smith, to go to one over the other? Like, it's all going to just be listed online. I think that the workday will go down to 4 days a week. That's what I think. I think with AI, there'll be people will be working less, so you may have more hours. Let's say a dental office. So, prediction. I think that you'll have 12-hour days, right? And then, but they won't be open, 4 days a week, because today. Some people say, oh, if you open your office on Saturday, from 7 to 7, Monday through Thursday covers your costs. And then Friday, Saturday is it's free money, right? So that's where your profits are. I think people who work 4 days a week, 12 hours a day, and then you'll have a couple guys who'll decide to open an extra day, and they'll just to catch some of the people that don't work on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or whatever, or even Thursday, Friday, Saturday, whatever it's going to be. But I see that happening. It's the same idea where things are just the world's becoming a smaller place. As vast and as beautiful and as great as this world is. I can, in the morning I'm here, in the afternoon I'm back home. It's well, you're flying. It's what's the big deal? Like, I'm just, there are people in big cities that drive an hour and a half to work each day. So I hopped on a plane, I came here, I go back home. I just see that with business also. That's where things are going. And the ones that are, that are stronger will probably prevail. It's hard to know. You have Uber now that's building automated cars. And you have Musk, who just got himself $1 trillion deal. He's also building them. So Uber says, well, there's room for competition. So there is. How many competitors? Is Waymo still going to be around?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's hard to know. Like, where maybe one of these guys. A lot of times you have businesses that just buy other businesses so they don't compete with them. They don't want them to, or they need them for,
Well, it's kind of a commentary on American society too, because Waymo, in theory, the technology is better. But that's not what's winning.
Right.
You remember Betamax?
No.
VHS and Betamax. Betamax was actually a superior product.
Wow.
But VHS went out, which at this point, most of the people who listen to this probably didn't own a VHS.
That's right.
Probably know what they probably still know what they
know
are.
what it is, right? Because they had to convert their grandmother's or mother's wedding video to a.
Well, it's interesting because I saw a meme the other day that it really summed things up well when it comes to this Moore's law type regression and where we are as a society, how fast things are changing, how fast advances are making. It said, you want to know why Gen X is pissed off all the time? Because they had to convert their music collection from 8 tracks to cassettes to CDs to DVDs to MP3s. But we really have had an astounding amount of technical innovation, in a very short time. And I doubt the guys who were trying to sell Betamax or VHS tapes back in the day would have had any concept of how these things would have gone. Blockbusters going out of business. I don't think you can get DVDs from Netflix anymore at all, which that was their prime model to begin with. And then, then you've got these services. Amazon's Prime never even had any kind of mail out type subscription. It's all just bits in the cloud now.
I talk to Howie all the time. Like, my job's going away. It's going away. I mean, it's not. There's no need for me. And a few years from now, what am I doing here? The relationships, and you get connected to a lot of people, and that's that. So from our business perspective, it's technology. Like, you use Shine, Patterson, all these guys, right? What happens if someone comes up with a massive marketplace technology, and then the youth, that's where they all start going, and they have the best, most efficient and effective, smoothest buying capabilities. The big guys are gone, and they have reps. That's what they make their money on. They have people knocking on doors. So how are you going to sell equipment? I don't know. It's a great question. How are you going to launch new products to manufacturers? I don't know. We're working on trying to put that in 10 to be the go-to for that also.
Yeah. VR headsets. They're getting cheap now.
Right.
You could actually ship out an inexpensive VR headset to every single office who is doing a build-out, package it with a nice computer, and you just say, hey, here's our virtual showroom. We'll have someone join you there and explain whatever features you want.
That's right.
There you go. There's your equipment sales. All virtual.
Yeah.
Now, you still have some snail mail problems, right? You've got to get that shipped out. But Amazon's pretty much licked that 24-hour shipping thing, except for right now, because they started relying too heavily on USPS and during the shutdown.
Back now to 2 days. A lot of 2 days on Amazon.
Yeah, absolutely.
And their real money, I think, is in their AWS software now. That's real. And the business evolved into that. That wasn't their plan. And we see that with us also, by the way. It's very often where, as a business, you're building and you're growing, and then doors open.
They're joining you at 2 days, right?
That's right.
I picked up on that.
That's right.
So, making market trends, Crazy Dental.
We're going to be the leader, trend leader.
So, your job's going away.
Could be.
So, what does the next step for you look like?
That's a great question. I don't know the answer to that. I started asking myself that. I don't know. The people say no. People that have relationships, and so many. I'm not here to boast because I'm trying to be a humble guy, but I don't know in the dental space if there are too many people as many people as I know, and I crossbreed.
And you remember everyone's names. It's disgusting. I hate you so much for that. Doc, you remember so. Yeah, hey, how's it going?
I have plenty of struggles. People go, hey, Jay, wherever I go, they know me. I can't remember them. And I have to look because they were with them. They're with them now. We talked about that earlier. It's one thing that doesn't change, I guess, is their names, but who I work for.
But you remember them all. It's crazy.
I try. I try. That's who I am. But thank you. But so that I have that going for me. I know so many people, and I crossbreed. Like, I'll talk to guys from Shine and from Patterson and from Bengal and Darby. I sit on panels with them, whatever it is, and I keep up with them. Some of the guys that I talk to are some of the brightest guys I know, and I try to learn from them. They can work for competitors. I can still learn from them.
You have this gift that it's unfortunate because it's something most people don't have, but it's something that AI has in spades. And it is that you have this filing cabinet in your head, and you meet someone one time, you talk to them the next time, and you say, oh, their dog's name is Alfie. Bloop, goes in that file. Oh, their wife's name is blah, and she does such and such. And you've got this memory for these minute details that most people don't have, which is what makes you an extraordinary rep. And, and it's part of your trick because you're easy to like because, you know things about people.
Tell my wife that.
Well, there's no accounting for taste there. So, but
the question, what do you do with that?
The thing is what do you do with that? Because it is something that AI is going to do automatically.
Correct.
But I don't know if you realize this or not. Part of the superpower is not just knowing those things, but knowing when to say them. So if you walked up to me every single time I was around you and you info dumped on me all the things that you knew about me, it would come across as manipulative or just very tone deaf. And perhaps your next stage of life will actually be training the replacement for customer service AI. Hey, I see you said that to this person that could have caused offense. Maybe try saying it this way. Maybe that's the next step. Well, maybe when people pick up the phone from now on and they're going through one of these voice command AI systems, it'll be your voice. Whether they can hear it or if it's just behind the algorithm.
Right. Interesting. I know a lot of AI guys. We go to dental conferences now, full of AI guys. They're everywhere.
Yep.
And who said this? One of these guys said, I don't remember. One of the wealthier guys. Just because he's wealthy doesn't mean everything he says is true. Whatever. God decided to make him wealthy, and it worked out. But he said could be. Oh no, I think he's actually from here. He's in Texas. The former owner of the Mavericks. What's his name? He's on the Shark Tank also. What's his name? Cuban.
Cuban. There you go. I was going to say, I don't keep up with sports. You made me watch a baseball game.
That's right. You came. That. I apologize. That was the most uncomfortable experience ever.
It was an experience. I just thought that's how you guys up north were.
Yes, exactly. It was not by design. I can't. My kids wanted to go the next year, and I found it was the same game. Like, no, I just don't go to that game.
Well, it was, no offense to anyone out there, but it was it Rainbow Day or something like that? Or week or whatever. And so they had like painted the entire field in rainbow colors and had a gay pride parade type thing going on and all sorts of stuff. Yeah. I thought
that's the day you picked to come up because you wanted to go to that. You wanted
but it was interesting because I think of the North as way less conservative, way more progressive. Yeah. And so I just thought it was a normal thing. I was just like, oh, they don't have that in Texas, Right. But
we just wanted to educate you.
I was educated, but it was very interesting. I had never actually been to a stadium before, and it was neat seeing all the food choices and stuff because I'm such a foodie.
Yes.
But it was neat seeing just kind of the history because Howie knew, like, he said, there's a marker over there on that brick wall, and that was, 1946, and that was the longest home run hit at the time, and that record can't be broken because it's, it exits. He's more numbers wise like me too, because it exits the park at this angle in general, and they've built this new building, and so it'll hit that building before, and so that guy's record's safe forever.
He's a big sports guy. So he loves this stuff. But
he does.
He just played in a charity softball game, like raise money for people in needs, whatever. And he pitched fast pitch 5 games. They won the championship. It's the guy, and he's serious. Now he's 46 now, something like that. But yes, it's you guys are incredible. But so Cuban said like the first trillionaire will be someone in AI.
Well,
and that's
it is.
Musk clearly
it's Elon Musk.
As long as he hits his benchmarks. But that's where it's going. So who knows? Like, it's hard to really know. Maybe I could start doing that to tell the AI what's it. Maybe I'm not such a detailed guy, but maybe, it's I don't know. It's companies won't tell salespeople to leave because they need them now to make their sales. Mm-hmm. But trust me, as soon as they're ready to hatch it,
you're gone.
Yeah. Or someone buys you, that's it. So I don't know if it'll be in our lifetime. I'm not sure. It takes a lot of change for that to happen. A lot. Robots have to become the norm. But the way things are going, they may be very soon. People are worried now. These robots they have in China, they're developing. You're probably following this stuff, where they have like personalities.
Yeah, did you see the one that kidnapped the other robots?
No, I did not see that one.
Yeah, it kind of like organized a strike. Kept the other robots from working. Evidently, something about job conditions.
Oh my gosh!
It's happening. They're coming for you, Jay.
Theater near you, but it's real.
Hey, maybe you could be their spokesman.
Yeah, I'll be the robot.
You could be their spokesman. You can, organize the robot labor union.
I'm a pro labor union guy, huh?
So our time for today is up. I'd like you to tell them how they can get in touch with you.
Thank you.
And give DC Dental, give Crazy Dental some business, and they get discounts because they're in TBOD. So
right.
Talk to us a little bit about that, about what our members can get, and I'll extend that if I may to anyone who listens to the podcast.
Yes,
because it's going to be out in the wild
it's all
too.
TBOD, absolutely. Thank you. So if they go to the Crazy Dental or DC, it'll work on either one. But if you're a solo practitioner or you have 2 locations, Crazy is going to be the best fit. Although if some people like talking to people, we have the rep side. TBOD 10, like the letter T, the letter B, the letter O, or it's really, not 0, but O, and then D is in David. 10, it gives you 10% off the first order. Like we talked earlier, it's not eternal. Our TBOD ship is you're always going to get free shipping. And then it's if you have multiple locations, definitely reach out. Or you can send an email to me, j@crazydental.com or j@dcdental.com. It goes to the same place. Doesn't make a difference. Or on social media, I'm all over the place. Don't do the Fox Sports guy. You do, reach out to me. It's on Facebook, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, whatever floats your boat. That's whole subjects for another time. If social media has changed. When we started, I think Facebook. It's a total different topic, but for a different time. But I think that I'm very accessible, and I have teams that work with me or for me, whatever. We work together. And they can, we'll take care of you. We'll negotiate. We'll set things up in a way where you're satisfied, and then we're not going to jack you up. If you want a comparison, send us a comparison, and within a day or two, you'll have it back, and you'll see the price. We're just less expensive. We have the customer service. We'll take care of you. Stuff ships same day. 95% of products ship same day. And the odds and ends. If you have like some small equipment or some instrument that you use like once a year that no one other office uses either, okay, we'll either drop ship it. It'll take a week or 2 to get, but probably closer to 10 to 14 days. But other than that, that's what we do. We love what we do. We're family oriented, like we discussed, and you're not going to be disappointed. You'll actually be happier. You'll make more money. You'll save more money. You'll have your Alaskan cruise, your Hawaii vacation, whatever you're looking.
And you won't have to work really hard to do it.
That's right. You're saving time. Bingo, right? So it took the word.
The one commodity you can't make more of, man.
Yeah. And it's
I used to say time and land, but now the Japanese and Dubai are making land, so all we got left is time. So, guys, you heard it right there. If you called Crazy Dental up and tell them that you want to talk to Crazy J about crazy dental prices because you heard they were insane, maybe they'll send you some Tootsie Rolls in your next box order.
Candy. We'll even buy you lunch, your whole office lunch if you want.
She's going to get so mad at you because that candy bowl is always going to be empty.
Now that I'm not there today, today's the day they probably fill it up, and I'll get there tomorrow. And oh man, I gotta go. I should start ordering just to spite her to make sure get a good
right.
Make more and more candy show up with you. What are you doing? I need more candy. But yeah, make it crazy. Whatever. That's one of the things that we talk about things changing and evolving and going away. But I think at least for now in our generation, the relationship, the concept of we actually care about you. We'll take care of you. It's about the bottom line because everything's about the bottom line. Even your dental office is about the bottom line, but we'll make sure that you're satisfied and that you're saving money. We're not growing because we're just another website, another dental company out there. And there's I think like to your point earlier, I think the family orientation has a lot to do with it. It's not just corporate where everyone just beats down on you, and people come
faceless entity.
Yeah, the only people leave us are the ones that retire. Yep. No one's going anywhere. So I don't know what's going to happen with my job. I can't tell you that. But what I could tell you is that my guess, I said to David once because I have teams now, and like what happens doesn't work. He's like, we'll find something else. Like it's not like okay, go on, have a good life. Yep. Those are literally the words out of his mouth. We'll find something else. Yeah, like it's a great place. I'm not trying to plug in the people who want jobs to come work for us. Send their resumes. I'm actually hiring now, but it's good people. And then I appreciate you inviting me down here. I appreciate your friendship, and it's good people attract good people. I'm not always so good, but I get better, and I'm I don't know if the word is good.
We'll have our wives talk. They'll compare the real stories.
Yes.
right, Jay, thank you so
Thank
much
you
for
very
coming
much.
out.
Appreciate you. Thank you.
And hey,
Some
guys,
exercise for the
thank you
week.
for joining us. Until the next time, that is Doc, and I am out.
And watch me educate. Yeah, we been could've started, but it's never late. Do it for my kids, yeah, let's set it straight. Do it for your kids, gotta set it straight. It's time to regulate. We need change now.